Chapter 1475. Yuan Qingxi, Huang Yin, and the demonic shadow in the wooden tablet floated at the edge of the seven-colored lake. They watched as the multicolored lake water was cut into pieces by the white blades, and blamed the shadow. They couldn't communicate with Luo Wei, nor did they dare to say anything to him. They could only blame the shadow. They did this in hopes that the shadow could restrain Luo Wei and prevent him from destroying the Earth Demon race's sacred land. Of course they knew that Luo Wei, as a void spirit, didn't care much about what would become of this tainted world. They only knew that the dragon beheading platform was what Luo Wei wanted. "It's not Luo Wei. Don't blame us for this." The shadow in Luo Wei's body tried to explain so that Yuan Qingxi and the others wouldn't misunderstand. She and Luo Wei communicated telepathically, asking Luo Wei what had happened. She also felt that something was wrong. "Well, the person you chose to devilize gives me a strange feeling," Luo Wei replied. Zlotsla. Hundreds of blades of light that carried the mysteries of space slashed at Long Jie's long body. The blades of light clashed with Howren's native laws on Long Jie's golden scales. Divine light splashed everywhere. Fine spatial rifts tried to form at Long Jie's position. However, every time a crack appeared, even though it was clearly capable of severely injuring the old dragon, it seemed to be obstructed by some kind of force and could not completely split open. The spatial rifts couldn't completely tear open and become the next wave of attack. Tan Chun Shan's Dharma idol, which had shrunk to the size of a grain of silver light, dodged the hidden spatial rifts like fireflies. Originally, Luo Wei was able to capture Tan Junshan's whereabouts. Originally, he had firmly locked onto him. It was also at this moment that he lost track of Tan Junshan's path, and couldn't spread his consciousness to the next path that Tan Junshan would definitely take. Chen Liangquan, who was holding the shattered crystal ball and purifying this part of the world with his radiant bloodline, also seemed to be helped by some mysterious power that allowed him to avoid the spatial rifts that quietly flew towards him. Luo Wei could sense that the great Tao laws of the Howren world were filled with hostility towards him. He felt that it was because the pure-blooded golden dragon had communicated with some kind of miraculous nature of this world. However, Zhong Chichen, who had walked out of the cauldron, seemed to be able to cooperate with the golden dragon and use the seven-colored divine dragon's spatial power within the dragon beheading platform. Sect leader of the medicine god sect, Zhong Chichen? What problem could there be? The purple eyes that represented Jian Ying suddenly focused on Zhong Chichen. She wanted to use the Earth Devil Soul art she had learned to illuminate Zhong Chichen's body and soul. Whoosh! A dark and mysterious eye formed from cold soul power was about to envelop Zhong Chichen's body and see through his soul. His gloomy eyes were like a huge shadow, and there were indeed many devil shadows surging within them. "Shadow heavenly illumination," Zhong Chichen sneered as he revealed the Earth Demon's secret technique of the phantom shadow. He allowed the dark eyes, which seemed to be formed by countless demonic phantoms, to look at him. The huge, bizarre eye that looked like a shadow swallowed Qin Lai whole like a soul devil. Zhong Chichen was swallowed whole. It was as if he had disappeared into the depths of the shadow in an instant, and all of his secrets had been analyzed by the bizarre eye. Yu Yuan, who had originally wanted to make a move, chose to wait and see because he knew who Qin Lai was. Yu Yuan didn't do anything. Jian Ying. He's used the shadow heavenly illumination. Be careful. There's no way he knows that you've learned the Earth Demon's secret technique. Huang Yin sensed that something was wrong. He stared closely at Zhong Chichen and heard Zhong Chichen's sneer. The bizarre eye that was surging with dark demonic phantoms drowned Zhong Chichen. Jian Ying had already activated the shadow heavenly illumination. ZZZT. The purple eye that represented Jian Ying that belonged to Luo Wei suddenly split open. It suddenly began to bleed uncontrollably. The huge, dark eye that wrapped around Zhong Chichen instantly split into countless shadow fragments, as if it was being pulled apart by thousands of dimensions. Zhong Qichen, who was wearing a blue robe, stood among the countless shadow fragments and stared at the eye that represented Jian Ying. Jian Ying's sharp, ear-piercing demonic voice resounded throughout the area, as if it wanted to tear apart one's eardrums. When the demons that were wandering around the seven-colored lake heard this demonic voice, they were forced to rush out, regardless of whether they were willing or not. "You're courting death." Chen Liangquan, who was in midair, sneered and injected a drop of blood essence into the shattered crystal ball. Dazzling light shone down, and the weak demons seemed to be burned by the holy white flames, quickly turning into smoke and ashes. Under the light that seemed to purify the world, even Yuan Qingxi and Huang Yin felt uncomfortable. Not to mention the low-level demons that couldn't escape from Jian Ying's demonic voice. "Stop," Huang Yin said angrily. Demons that still had a chance of evolving were completely useless in a battle of this level. At this time, the demons that Jian Ying summoned were just cannon fodder to die. Moreover, they were meaningless. Jian Ying's screams were replaced by trembling sounds. That bleeding purple eye, the shadow that belonged to her, kept splitting apart and then gathering together again. After repeating this 7 times, the split demonic shadow finally reformed and eliminated Zhong Qichen's counterattack. A palpitating feeling that reached the depths of her demonic soul suddenly surged, causing Jian Ying to recall the unbearable past of the dragon race's ruler, Haoran, who slaughtered all living beings. Earth demons were also slaughtered by the dragon race, and were casually killed and refined. Among them, there was a beautiful and graceful dragon who liked to refine earth demons and use their souls to strengthen her dragon soul. Who knew how many high-level earth demons she had devoured? That graceful dragon with colorful dragon scales loved to come to the rainbow cloud miasma sea. It was said that because he liked the clouds and light of the rainbow cloud miasma sea, he had solved all the mysteries of the deadly poison and miasma. He had even gone deep underground and bathed in the earth demon race's holy land, the seven-colored lake, using the bright lake water to wash his dragon body. Over time, even his dragon body turned 7-colored. He was very satisfied and liked the 7-colored dragon body very much, so he had another name, the 7-colored divine dragon. His dragon body had long been immune to all the filth, acid, and evil abilities that corroded the soul. He had also comprehended the mysteries of this world's filth. He was the earth demon race's nemesis. He had comprehended the mysteries of the rainbow cloud miasma sea and the underground world of filth when he was bathing in the lake. Although he had comprehended and imprinted the mysteries of filth in his dragon body and bloodline, he didn't use it to fight, because he felt that the earth demon race hadn't even given birth to the great demon god at that time. The filth related to the entire race, including the many evil soul techniques, were just unorthodox methods. It wasn't worth mentioning. It wasn't worth it for an existence as proud as him to immerse himself in such techniques and waste his time and energy. His dragon body kept the earth demons in check, so after he was killed, his dragon body was placed in the dragon beheading platform. After being strengthened by arrays and divine artifacts, it naturally suppressed the earth demons, making it difficult for the earth demons to advance to the supreme level. The funny thing was, what did we do? We're actually trying to demonize him? Jian Ying wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He could adapt to the Rainbow Lake and integrate all the filth abilities because he had already comprehended all the laws here. The time he spent in the Rainbow Lake wasn't shorter than yours or mine. The Earth Devil progenitors before you and me were all killed by him. The Space-Time Dragon. The 7-colored Dragon God. Huang Yin and Yuan Qingxi shouted. Jian Ying's words made the leaders of the Earth Demons and the Ghost Witch sect feel like they had bumped into a ghost in broad daylight. They felt like they had been humiliated and fooled. Were they at the mercy of the gods, or had they been tricked by Zhong Qichen? Otherwise, why would they be so bold as to invite this guy, who made the entire Earth Demon race tremble at the mention of his name, back to the rainbow cloud miasma sea. Was there anything more ridiculous and unlucky than this? Chapter 1476. Before the great demon god was born in the earth demon race, before the ghost witch sect and the Shunhun sect emerged, the ancient demons were still enduring. Hauran was ruled by the dragon race. The dragon of space and time ruled over the rainbow cloud miasma sea and the corrupted underground world. The dragon of space and time viewed these two places with dense miasma as his own private territory. He was well versed in the laws of these places and comprehended all the corrupted power. The ancient earth demons before Huang Yin and Zhu Ying were soul food that he could devour at will. Once he was at the top of the food chain in these two secret lands. Even though he was reborn in human form as a dragon soul, his innate magnetic field allowed him to perfectly adapt to all the corruption. After all, he had once bathed in the Rainbow Lake, the sacred land of the earth demon race, for a long time. After Huang Yin secretly sensed his adaptation to the corrupted energy, he believed that his body could become the terrifying source of corruption. He believed that he could become an earth demon and become an anomaly among the earth demons. That was why Huang Yin and Zhu Ying thought of ways to corrupt him with poison and get him to the rainbow cloud miasma sea. They were looking forward to the moment he was completely devilized and the birth of the source of corruption. Little did they know that they had invited the nightmare of the earth demon race, the existence that ruled two worlds, back. Just like that, they invited an ancestor to the rainbow cloud miasma sea. Huang Yin and Zhu Ying were so upset that they wanted to cry on each other's shoulders. What sin have we committed? Why are the heavens treating us like this? Why are you playing such a joke on us? Interesting. Hearing Huang Yin, Yuan Qingxi, and Zhu Ying's exclamations, Yu Yuan laughed in surprise. At this moment, a vein in his mind seemed to have been cleared up. The dragon of space and time was a natural counter to the earth demon race. Even if the earth demon sect, the ghost witch sect, and the divine soul sect had all sent out supreme beings who had reached the great demon god level at the same time, such as Huang Yin and Zhu Ying, they would still be suppressed by the spacetime dragon. That was because the beautiful seven-colored divine dragon had analyzed all the secrets of the earth demons' tainted abilities and the evil soul arts they had comprehended. He knew everything about Old Demon, but Old Demon knew nothing about the Tao of space and time, so how could he fight him? Once he stood in front of the spacetime dragon, the great demon god of the earth demon clan would only be able to passively take a beating. Back then, the ancient monster clan, the Shunhun sect, had joined forces with the Earth Demon clan and the Ghost Witch sect to fight against the Dragon clan. They needed the Earth Demon clan's help because the Earth Demon clan also occupied two of the highest positions. Even though Shao Chen occupied 2 seats, he could not bring out the strength he should have. The seven-colored divine dragon completely suppressed him. Such a situation, of course, the demons and the Shunhun sect would be dissatisfied. They also saw that in the Shunhun sect, among the 3 high sects, there were powerful cultivation geniuses in the Devil's Palace. They had clearly rushed to the Freedom Realm and were not restrained by the dragon race. However, they lacked a seat to reach the Supreme Realm. In order to knock the dragon race off their pedestal, in order to achieve this initial goal, what should he do? The only way was to kill the great demon god of the Earth Demon clan and use the seat they vacated to allow the new elites to ascend. Only then would they be able to defeat the Dragon clan. Of the 2 supreme beings of the Ghost Witch sect, one of them was Yu Yu. Back then, was he also restrained by the Frost Dragon? Otherwise, how could the Frost Dragon's corpse suppress the Ghost Witch sect's peak powerhouse from ascending to the Supreme Realm? If the answer was the same, if the Earth Demon clan and the Ghost Witch sect obtained the supreme seats first, it would prove that they were unable to fight against the 7-colored divine dragon and the Frost Dragon. It would prove that the early stage was a mistake. In order to correct this mistake, the only way was to kill the supreme beings of the Earth Demon clan and the Ghost Witch sect. They would provide a ladder for those who were not restrained by the Dragon Clan and allow the new elites to ascend to godhood. The ancient Monster Clan and the Shunhun sect should also know that because the Dragon Clan's population was too small, the new supreme seats had been vacated, and no new dragons could break through to the Dragon God realm. Once the seats were vacated, the only ones who could benefit were the new elites of the human and demon clans. That was why they dared to do so. Yu was able to retain a remnant soul and condense it into a witch ghost. Zhu Ying and the Earth Demon, who were like Huang Yin, still had remnant souls wandering in the world. The other ancestor of the ghost, witch sect, might also be able to leave a trace in the world. Perhaps it was because the Shunhun sect felt guilty and that they had let them down. That was why they did not exterminate them and left them some leeway. After all, they were not at fault. It was only because they would be a burden to everyone in this battle, and the supreme seats were limited. Therefore, in order to achieve the final victory, they could only bear the pain of killing them and sacrificing them. Later on, the commander of the Shunhun sect, Howren, continued to suppress them for the sake of the human race and for the stability of Howren. This was to prevent the dragon gods of the Dragon Clan from dying one after another and new supreme seats being vacated. The deceased members of the Ghost Witch sect and the Earth Demon clan would then awaken and rush to the supreme seats. They were destined to be enemies of the Shunhun sect, the Monster Clan, and the newly ascended supreme sects of the human race. This was because the winners had stepped on them to get to the top. They did not get a share of the fruits of victory, and were even deliberately suppressed. Once a new supreme appeared, it would definitely bring disaster to all parties and destroy the rare peace of Howren, igniting the flames of war once again. Therefore, when the dragon-slaying platform suppressed the Dragon Clan, it also dragged the dragon corpses of the Spacetime Dragon and the Frost Dragon into it. With the natural balance of these two divine dragons, strengthened by the power of the array and the divine artifact, the Ghost Witch sect and the Earth Demon clan could not make a comeback. That's true. It's really sad. No wonder there's so much anger and resentment. A series of thoughts flashed through his mind. Yu Yuan seemed to have traveled through time and space and saw the scenes that had happened in the past. Suddenly, he understood the hatred of these people hiding underground towards the five supreme forces and the Shunhun sect. They should indeed hate. They did not do anything wrong. They were originally heroes who fought against the Dragon Clan. Everything they did was to escape the cruel Dragon Clan. It was all because they were unlucky to be naturally suppressed by the Spacetime Dragon and the Frost Dragon. It was all because they occupied the supreme seat. Because they could not exert their full strength, they were decisively killed by the ancient Demon Clan and the Shunhun sect after a discussion. Perhaps there were some dishonorable things mixed in. It's really sad. TSK. As if he knew what Yu Yuan was thinking, Zhong Qichen laughed in a low voice and turned his head to look at him. The mockery on his face stunned Yu Yuan. Zhong Qichen's expression and eyes seemed to say, "Isn't it all because of you? Me?" Yu Yuan suddenly reined in her distracting thoughts, not daring to continue thinking about it. In his first life, he was the master of the dragon-slaying platform. The dragon corpses of the Spacetime Dragon and the Frost Dragon were thrown in by him. According to Yue, the leaders and ancestors of the Ghost Witch sect and the Earth Demon clan were defeated by him. Yu Yuan's face was full of embarrassment. They were really unlucky to have met you and me. It was so in the past, but I didn't expect it to be the same now. Zhong Qichen's words had a double meaning. When he was still the Rainbow Divine Dragon, the entire Earth Demon clan was enslaved, oppressed, and tortured by him for many years. Finally, by chance, he comprehended the power to become a great demon god. He thought that the dawn had come and joined forces with the Ghost Witch sect, the Shunhun sect, and the ancient demon clan to do something big. Not long after, the guy next to him and the Demon Clan saw that the Earth Demon Clan occupied the supreme seat and would never be able to achieve great things. So, they killed him ruthlessly and decisively. In the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of years later, this guy moved the dragon-slaying platform and gave the Earth Demon clan new hope. They were ready to do something big again. However, they accidentally invited him over. To think that he had actually brought this fellow to this place. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame your bad luck. Blame fate for teasing you Earth Demons too much. Zhong Qichen flew out of the dragon-slaying platform with a smile and floated above the Rainbow Lake. I remember you. You are older than Huang Yin and Zhu Ying. I seem to remember that you used to. Zhong Qichen picked his ear and looked at the elegant Earth Demon in the wooden tomb tablet from the corner of his eyes. You used to wash my body and serve me for a while. The dignified and elegant figure of old Demon, who had merged into the wooden tablet, trembled violently. She couldn't even say a word to boost her courage. Unfortunately, although you are older, your comprehension is inferior to Huang Yin and Zhu Ying. Zhong Qichen shook his head. You lost the qualification to become a great demon god. After countless years, only this little bit of demon soul is left and merged with this tomb tablet. It's too pitiful, too pitiful. The Earth Demon in the wooden tomb tablet couldn't help but step back. She retreated far away and didn't even dare to look at him. Even if he was no longer the rainbow-colored, extremely beautiful divine dragon. Gurgle, gurgle. The water of the Rainbow Lake suddenly boiled. This was a phenomenon that had never happened before. Zhong Qichen slowly sank into the water as if there was no one around. When I take a bath, I like the water to be hot. The special ability hidden deep in the lake that was beneficial to his body and mind surged crazily the moment he fell into the lake. It helped him wash his meridians, blood, and bones, help him refine his yin spirit, and help him forge his yang spirit body toward the original dragon body so that he could climb to the peak of the Freedom Realm in the shortest time possible. Zhu Ying, Huang Yin, when you two were great demon gods, you could only take a beating when you worked together. Now you two are only great demon gods, and I am a Freedom Realm cultivator of the human race. Isn't the result the same? Chapter 1477. Zhong Qichen fell into the Rainbow Lake. At that moment, Huang Yin, Ho Ying, and the elegant demonic figure hidden in the wooden tablet all felt oppressed and uncomfortable at the same time. The connection between them and the seven-colored lake seemed to have been severed. The Rainbow Lake was the Earth Demon clan's sacred lake, their birthplace, and the source of their strength. However, the moment Zhong Qichen fell into it, it seemed to have become a part of him. It was as if it had become Zhong Qichen's dragon pool. In the past, when they were heavily injured and their souls were about to shatter, they could quickly recover by sinking into the Rainbow Lake. To them, the Rainbow Lake was equivalent to the blood spirit altar of the otherworldly demons. The blood spirit altar that the sky demons had built with all their might could quickly heal the severely injured of a clan. There were too many similarities between the sky demons and the earth demons. The seven-colored lake also had many similarities to the blood spirit altar, which was called the Blue Devil's Tears, and was controlled by Tian Song. The lowest level of the tears of the blue demon was called the turbid demon fetus, which was also a mixture of filth, poison, and various dregs. However, the seven-colored lake was clearly more wondrous than the Blue Devil's Tears. It contained even more mysteries. That was because the Rainbow Lake could nurture earth demons and give birth to new earth demons. It could also vaguely control the entire turbid world. However, at that moment, they seemed to have been abandoned by the Rainbow Lake and could no longer obtain power from it, because Zhong Qichen had fallen into it. Forefather, Long Jie, who was floating in the air like a winding golden wall, stared at the tiny figure in the lake with his enormous golden eyes. He could clearly sense that the bloodline crystal chains in Zhong Qichen's heart were the bloodline of a dragon. Inside Zhong Qichen's body, a young spirit body that looked like a rainbow glass was gathering the power of the Rainbow Lake and undergoing a miraculous change. It had become a slightly smaller rainbow divine dragon. At this point, how could Long Jie not know that the current sect master of the medicine god sect, Zhong Chichen, whom he had mistakenly thought to be hopeless, was the dragon of space and time? Long Jie couldn't help but feel uneasy when he thought about how he used his golden hand to press the lid of the furnace to prevent Zhong Chichen from coming out. At the same time, Long Jie also realized that Luo Wei's secret space technique was about to open, but it was unable to do so. Who was the one behind all of this? This dragon clan ancestor of his had awakened when the first seven-colored ray of light flew out of the dragon beheading platform and entered the pill furnace, entering his human body. As more and more seven-colored dragon-like dragon auras entered his body, the dragon soul hidden in Zhong Chichen's main soul quickly recovered. By the time Zhong Chichen stepped out of the pill furnace and smiled at Yu Yuan, he had already used his influence to secretly destroy Luo Wei's spatial laws. The suppression of the great Tao that Luo Wei felt during the battle and the unhappiness he felt at every turn originated from him. Chi. The streaks of dazzling spatial blades in the sky became disorderly, as if they weren't completely under Luo Wei's control. Chen Liangquan and Tan Chunshan, who had planned to leave in the form of a silver speck of light, were in no hurry to leave due to the sudden change. Tan Chunshan's crescent moon Dharma idol transformed into human form with a shake of his body. Chen Liangquan, who was holding the shattered crystal ball in his hand, stopped in midair with him with a whoosh. The two of them looked at Luo Wei, who had also stopped attacking, and then looked at Zhong Chichen, who had half of his body exposed in the seven-colored lake. Him? The dragon of space and time? Chen Liangquan was taken aback. Tan Chun Shan licked the corner of his mouth and wiped the sweat from his forehead. From what the two Earth Devil progenitors said, Zhong Chichen is the rainbow divine dragon from the primordial era. Did you feel that when we escaped from Luo Wei earlier, it was as if we had divine help? It was especially easy? Chen Liangquan nodded. I did feel that way. The two of them exchanged a glance and instantly came to a decision. They didn't intend to charge out of this tainted world. They also wanted to know if the Zhong Chichen in the lake was the rainbow divine dragon or not. If he was. If such an ancient dragon god reappeared in Zhong Chichen's human form, how much impact would it have on Howren and the current situation? Shadow and... You're Luo Wei, right? Inside the Rainbow Lake, Zhong Chichen raised his head and looked at the two mutants whose souls were in one body. Zhuing, it seems like you're afraid of me to the bone. How many years has it been? The method you tried so hard to come up with was to merge with a peak bloodline void spirit? Do you think that you have to comprehend the power of space, or find someone who is the strongest in this field to be able to resist me, to be able to contend against me? I know all the secrets of the Earth Devils. Do you also want to know the secrets of space that I've studied? In all the worlds in this universe, the only expert you can think of is Luo Wei, right? Ha! I was the one who killed all of Luo Wei's high-tier void specters one after another. Even your creator, that colorful butterfly. Wasn't it also smashed by the dragon beheading platform and separated its soul from its body, so it was lucky to escape? And I, other than that person, am the one who contributed the most. Zhong Chichen sneered. He sneered at the ancestor of the Earth Devils, Shadow, the patriarch of the Void Spirits, and the butterfly that created this race. Above the dragon beheading platform, Yu Yuan's body trembled slightly because of his senior martial brother's words. He had a vague impression of this. He had once seen a huge, elongated divine stone break the branches of a divine tree that had pierced through many stars. It had even beaten a huge colorful butterfly, whose soul and body had been split apart before it had fled in panic. The rainbow divine dragon's soul hadn't been destroyed in the dragon beheading platform, so it was a direct participant. Therefore, what his senior martial brother said was the truth and not an exaggeration. You're still in the freedom realm. Right now, Howren doesn't have a new supreme seat that can help you become a god quickly. Luo Wei spoke in midair, and the demonic shadow in his purple eyes gradually faded away. The clan leader of the Void Spirit race was really infuriated by Zhong Qichen. When Zhong Qichen fell into the seven-colored lake, he found that Shadow's power and the foul miasma it could summon were completely suppressed by Zhong Qichen, so he signaled for Shadow to disappear. Meanwhile, he was going to take over this body and finish the battle in his strongest form in a short time. Luo Wei, Huang Yin, Yuan Qingxi, and the demonic shadow in the tablet all moved away. They all moved away from the seven-colored lake and Luo Wei, leaving the battlefield and space for this true expert who had been hiding here for many years. He was second only to the great demon god Bertuns and the radiant race's Kadoras, who ranked third. Yuan Qingxi and Huang Yin knew that Luo Wei's battle prowess had never decreased. After the Shura of Gojoseon Sabonis had been severely injured, he had become the third strongest in the outer realms. Crack, crack, the space in the tainted world suddenly shattered like a giant piece of glass. Long, narrow, and bright spatial rifts that couldn't be completely torn apart before were instantly torn apart. The spatial rifts that were hundreds of thousands of feet long filled this part of the world and tore the void into pieces. Roar! Long Jie's gigantic dragon body was reduced to a bloody mess in an instant. Parts of his scales were cut into pieces, and his swaying dragon tail suddenly broke into several pieces. Long Jie's blood splashed across the sky as he howled in pain and shrank. He no longer dared to use his enormous and majestic dragon body to intimidate Earth Demon and the ghost which sex demons below. Crack! Silver-colored blood flowed out of the cracks in Qin Liangquan's crystal ball. Traces of blood were still shining with divine light. It was extremely dazzling. Qin Liangquan's face suddenly paled to the extreme as he pressed both hands on the crystal ball. As proud as he was, he had no choice but to ask Tan Chunshan for help. "Help me!" Unfortunately, his cry for help didn't receive any response. In the blink of an eye, Tan Junshan had vanished without a trace. It was as if he had been swallowed up by Luo Wei's spatial gate and thrown into an unknown world of nothingness. Perhaps he wouldn't be able to return for the rest of his life. Luo Wei, the spatial turbulence caused by your return will definitely be sensed by the supreme beings of Howren. It won't be long before you'll be surrounded and beaten by the supreme beings of Howren. Let alone you, Luo Wei, even with Bertuns and Kadoras, the three of you won't be able to do anything. Zhong Qichen stopped smiling and said with a cold face. At this moment, Luo Wei's eyes were seven-colored as he revealed his strongest state. He also had to go all out. He had to rely on the dragon beheading platform and his presence in vast sea to block Luo Wei's attack. In the next moment, Luo Wei and his gaze landed on Yu Yuan at the same time. Or rather, on the dragon beheading platform. Chapter 1478. A suffocating pressure instantly enveloped Yu Yuan's entire body. Under Luo Wei's gaze, he knew that he might not be able to keep the dragon beheading platform under his feet. Luo Wei's goal was very clear. He wanted to obtain the dragon beheading platform and kill him and his senior brother. Luo Wei's senior brother was the reincarnation of the spacetime dragon. For the sake of the void spirits, Luo Wei had set his senior brother as his primary target. And he was the current master of the dragon beheading platform. The heaven-splitting divine stone, which was originally a void spirit, was originally a cocoon shed by a colorful butterfly. Luo Wei had the pure bloodline of the void spirits flowing through his body. There was definitely a secret connection between him and the heaven-splitting divine stone that had been refined into the dragon beheading platform. Once he obtained the dragon beheading platform and destroyed the dragon corpses of the spacetime dragon and the frost dragon, as well as the divine chains and laws of order hidden inside, he might be able to control it. After completely returning, Luo Wei's battle prowess shocked Yu Yuan. Long Jie, who was only one step away from becoming a dragon god, Tan Chun Shan, who was at the peak of the Freedom Realm and qualified to become a god, Chun Liangquan, who had a rank 9 bloodline of the Radiant race and wielded a saint weapon. These three were the most powerful people in Howren. They were definitely outstanding people, but they had been defeated so quickly. On the other side, senior brother Zhong Chichen's attitude was somewhat thought-provoking. His senior brother in the seven-colored lake was gathering power at the fastest speed possible, and his ancient dragon body was currently on the dragon beheading platform. His original dragon soul had stayed in his dragon body for many years. Together with his first self, he had been a peak warrior in the boundless sea of stars. Not only was he familiar with the dragon beheading platform, but he also had a dragon body. Naturally, he had a chance of obtaining the dragon beheading platform. He, who understood the true meaning of space, clearly wanted to obtain the dragon beheading platform in the Howren Great World and wrestled with Luo Wei. As for himself, Yu Yuan's expression was serious. "I don't have much time." Luo Wei nodded slightly. Crack. More spatial blades and dazzling glowing portals that could be seen with the naked eye came to form in this tainted world. Every door corresponded to a mysterious space that Luo Wei had explored. After establishing a passage here, he could pass through any door and leave Howren unscathed. He left a backup plan for himself and assumed a posture that he could leave at any time. Then, he said to Huang Yin, Yuan Qingxi, and the Devil's Shadow in the wooden tablet, "You can find any door and leave Howren. But in the outer realms, I can find all of you and keep you safe and sound." As soon as he finished speaking, he pointed at Yu Yuan. Deep inside his palm, dark circles of light spun as a profound bloodline secret art was formed. Yu Yuan, who was standing on the dragon beheading platform, immediately felt as though dozens of spaces had been rolled up into a carpet and wrapped around his body. More than a dozen secret spaces wrapped around him and tightened their grip, giving him a strong sense of uneasiness. Whoosh! Whoosh whoosh! Streaks of crimson light, refined spirit energy, and soul energy were suddenly mobilized. Holding Gendo's blood prison, he swung the blade continuously in the shrinking space. He was using the sword art of 9 slashes to the sky. Yuan Qingxi, Huang Yin, the Devil's Shadow in the wooden tablet, and the Headless Knight who were scattered far away could see thousands of streaks of crimson sword light suddenly appear in the space where Yu Yuan was standing. The streaks of crimson sword light displayed the sword art of 9 slashes to the sky and caused the space to explode. However, under Luo Wei's bloodline power, the shattered space would heal in an instant and continue to press down on him. It felt as if layers of space were squeezing Yu Yuan's position with great force. In the end, Yu Yuan's body would be squeezed into a bloody pulp. Pop 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 pop. The crimson sword light and bloody sparks shattered space. It looked as if thousands of suns, stars, and moons were collapsing and exploding in a small area. It was as if countless beautiful galaxies and countless worlds surrounded Yu Yuan and were being destroyed. It was beautiful, dazzling, and filled with a sense of tragedy. "He's stronger than I expected. No wonder he's famous in outer space." To be able to receive the dragon beheading platform's acknowledgement, use its power, and be favored by someone like Taisher, he is indeed an extraordinary person. Furthermore, his true cultivation is only at the sun god realm. Luo Wei, who was actually ranked 3rd in the starry sky, frowned as he felt the energy erupting from that small area. Yu Yuan's unrestrained display of strength in the face of danger also shocked him. What seemed like a small area was actually 16 strange spaces that were connected to his bloodline and were being squeezed together. In such a dense space, he believed that even experts like Long Jie and Tan Junshan would be smashed into pieces. Holding Gendo in his hand, Yu Yuan repeatedly switched from a saber to a sword. The crimson sword light that burst out of it, and the tremendous power that twisted the laws of nature with every move he made it so that several small spaces couldn't bear it. Without a sound, the worlds collapsed, and the laws of nature were destroyed. In another part of the Starry River. This part of the Starry River was separated from the Howran realm by an endless starry river. Luowei had explored it before, but no one knew where it was. In the dark Starry River, there were a few realms that had been shattered by thousands of crimson lightning bolts that were as thick as dragons. The Tao laws that had been created by Luowei in those realms crumbled one after another in the depths of the earth and the void. In the dim Starry River, a few realms were quietly disintegrating into huge meteors. None of the people in the tainted underground world of Howran knew about this heroic scene. Only Luowei. There was also, in a corner of the Starry River where energy had dried up, a crescent moon suddenly appeared and hung high in the sky. A silvery figure looked around in confusion. He looked at the stars shattering in astonishment, and looked at the crimson sword light that appeared for a fleeting moment. The heaven-piercing sword? Have I returned to the past? Tan Chun Shan thought that he had been affected by Zhong Chichen's space-time power and distorted time. Then, Luowei pulled him to a world in the past, where he was witnessing Nye Qingtian slaughtering everyone with a divine sword in hand. Tan Chun Shan looked dazed. Master! Yuan Qingshi, the patriarch of the Ghost Witch sect, had floated to the side of the white bone at some point. He bowed respectfully and then asked in a low voice, "Are you really not going to open the scroll?" At this moment, Luowei had fully returned and was attacking Yu Yuan. Yu Yuan was having a hard time resisting, and the space he could move in was shrinking rapidly. Yuan Qingshi thought that since Yu Yuan was the person the consciousness of the scroll had chosen 300 years ago, shouldn't he do anything? Don't you want to know why the self-consciousness in the painting, which has no possibility of growing stronger and can only stay inside forever, chose Yu Yuan? There's no hurry. The white bone looked expressionlessly at Luowei and Zhong Chichen, who was in the seven-colored lake. He seemed to be more interested in Zhong Chichen. His gaze and attention were mostly focused on the seven-colored lake. It seemed that he wanted to know what Zhong Chichen would do next. Would he join forces with Yu Yuan to fight Luowei, or would he find an opportunity to take the dragon beheading platform and use it to fight Luowei? The white bone wanted to know more. Master! Master! On the other side, Yui was also calling out and trying to establish a connection with Yu Yuan. Unfortunately, Yu Yuan, who was surrounded by more than a dozen dimensions, couldn't hear her at all, nor could he maintain a soul connection with her. Even if she tried her best, she couldn't break through the shrinking boundaries of the dimensions. Facing the third strongest expert in the entire universe, second only to Bertans and Kadoras, she couldn't affect the overall situation at all. She felt powerless. Patriarch. After shrinking, Long Jie, who had turned into a beam of golden lightning, flew above the seven-colored lake and stayed close to Zhong Chichen's half-exposed body. Zhong Chichen glanced at him. "You can't die. Why are you in a hurry?" "It's not that I'm in a hurry, but—" Long Jie wanted to say that the dragon race had signed a contract with Yu Yuan. As the patriarch of the dragon race, he couldn't break the contract. "What do you know?" Zhong Chichen snorted. Long Jie immediately shut up. "You and I don't need to be in a hurry. The one who should be in a hurry should be Luowei." Zhong Chichen looked very indifferent. Does he really think that the supreme experts of Howran are pushovers? Once he shows his full strength, he will definitely be surrounded by the supreme experts of Howran. Now, the reason why he hasn't been noticed and hasn't been discovered is because... He looked at White Bone. "It's because of you, right?" White Bone didn't comment. Yuan Qingshi was pleasantly surprised and said with a trembling voice, "Master Yu." White Bone had never expressed its opinion since it stepped underground. Zhong Chichen said this, and White Bone didn't deny it. Yuan Qingshi couldn't help but raise his head and look at the sky. The sky was already covered. With the power of a supreme expert, White bone made all the supreme experts of Howren unable to spy on the movements underground. This was the first time the master he served helped him. Of course, he was excited. Chapter 1479. The tainted underground world was filled with too much Yin energy from evil thoughts and evil thoughts. This Yin energy accounted for a large proportion of the Yin energy. Baigu, who had become a ghost god, could use the Yin energy from the rivers that flowed from the source of the Yin veins. Yuan Qingshi looked up and sensed carefully. He knew that the mixed Yin energy filled the sky of this world. The Yin energy, which was mixed with all kinds of filthy energy, was pulled by a pure Yin energy and condensed into a solid barrier, blocking all the attention from the outside world. The nascent divinities and demon gods could not see through it and know what was happening underground. In the world, only Baigu could use Yin energy and block the detection of a supreme being. As for Zhong Qichen, because he understood the various laws of the tainted world, he knew all the secrets and changes in this world. Therefore, he knew that the one who used the power of a supreme ghost god to cover up the terrifying movements below was Baigu, who had been silent for a long time. No one knew what he was thinking. It's him? How can he help the earth demons? Long Jie, who had condensed into a golden lightning bolt, did not know about Baigu's past. Hearing Zhong Qichen's words and seeing how excited Yuan Qingshi was, and Baigu did not refute, he could not help but ask in surprise. In the depths of the void, Chen Liangquan, who was no longer targeted by Luo Wei, held the shattered crystal ball with both hands bleeding. At this moment, he also looked at Baigu in shock. If Baigu was also a problem, Chen Liangquan did not dare to imagine. Since the two former great demon gods of the Earth Demon clan have appeared, how can the Ghost Witch sect be idle? Zhong Qichen twitched the corner of his mouth and revealed Baigu's original identity. You should remember me. Tens of thousands of years later, I also want to know what your position is. Baigu's expression was wooden, and he was still silent. However, he frowned slightly, as if he disliked Zhong Qichen for talking too much. You. Long Jie paled in fright. As the only surviving old dragon of the dragon clan, he had read about this name in many ancient books and record. Yu, one of the leaders of the Ghost Witch sect. He was also the first human to advance to the supreme nascent divinity realm. He was the great pioneer who fought against the dragon clan. Baigu was actually him? It seems that you fellows who have been hiding underground have long known of this fact. Zhong Qichen, who hadn't noticed anything unusual about Huang Yin, the headless horseman, and the faint demonic shadow in the wooden tablet, grinned and said, "No wonder you were hiding earlier. No wonder you dared to set up an underground trap and plot against the dragon beheading platform." Because of Long Jie, when he saw that no one was surprised when he mentioned Yu Yu's background, he understood everything. Chen Liangquan and Long Jie also suddenly wanted to go to the front of the house. Kenli used her falling star eyes to spy on the ground. When she saw the white bones, Canli was immediately injured. After that, in the field of vision of the falling star eyes, there were no more white bones. The two of them immediately knew what was going on. Oh no, Long Jie and Chen Liangquan had the same thought at the same time. They thought that since Baigu was Yu, one of the primordial spirits of the Ghost Witch sect, how could they win the battle in the filthy world below? Luo Wei alone could destroy everyone in front of him. Only the Rainbow Divine Dragon, who had been reborn as a human, could resist a little. But with Luo Wei and Baigu, and the other supreme beings of Howren not involved, they had no hope at all. I knew that you would stand on our side in the end, Master. Yuan Qingshi raised his head and was greatly encouraged. Huang Yin and the elegant demonic shadow in the wooden tablet also showed obvious joy. Welcome back, Yu. The demonic shadow in the tablet bowed to Baigu vaguely, as if it had been waiting for this moment for thousands of years. With Luo Wei and Baigu, even if an accident like Zhong Qichen appeared, they still believed that they would win. After all, Zhong Qichen hadn't become a supreme being yet. No matter how strong the spacetime dragon was, it couldn't turn the situation around if it didn't recover its full strength. Thank goodness! Yuan Qingxi and Huang Yin completely relaxed. Zhong Qichen's words were the biggest worry in their hearts. They were worried that after Luo Wei revealed his strongest state, he would alert the supreme beings of Haoran. Then, because of Luo Wei's appearance, most of the supreme beings who were present recently would all rush here. If this happened, the battle would end in an instant. Luo Wei would immediately escape to the outer region. If he didn't escape, he would die in Haoran. As for those who were involved in this matter, if they couldn't escape immediately, they would be wiped out by the supreme beings. Not to mention becoming the great demonic god, they might not even be able to keep a wisp of their consciousness. What they were looking forward to and wanted was Bai Gu's ability to deceive the heavens. The only thing they could think of was Bai Gu's ability to deceive the supreme beings of Haoran and prevent them from sensing Luo Wei's arrival in the filthy underground world. Now Bai Gu had finally fulfilled their wish. How could they not be excited? Bai Gu Yu Yuan, who was using all his strength, crazily stimulated all the power in his body in the narrow space, trying to break through the closed space and escape. However, he was able to hear the words that Zhong Qichen had deliberately let him hear. The sky was covered by the white bones. The supreme beings of Haoran couldn't sense Luo Wei and couldn't descend here because Bai Gu, who had reached the ghost god level, helped Earth Demon and the Ghost Witch sect. Because of this, his hope was cut off. Luo Wei, senior martial brother Zhong Qichen, and ghost god Bai Gu Yu Yuan also felt powerless. Even though Gendo's sword light repeatedly shattered space, it didn't make him feel at ease. He also saw how powerful Luo Wei was when he took back control of his body and attacked him with the power of a peak warrior of the outer region. My realm is still not enough. I still can't step into the ultimate realm. He knew very well that even though his yang spirit body had the strength of the Freedom Realm, he was no match for Luo Wei. The most hateful thing was that under the pressure of the layers of space, he couldn't communicate with Yu Yi and the dragon beheading platform. Otherwise, he could at least try to retreat to the dragon beheading platform. Yu, do you want him to die? Zhong Qichen, who had been soaking in the seven-colored lake for a while, finally left the surface of the lake. Whoosh! In an instant, he stood on the dragon beheading platform, almost face to face with Yu Yuan, who was wrapped in layers of space. Chi, 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 chi. Thousands of beams of seven-colored light shot between him and Yu Yuan. The Tao laws that originated from his bloodline rushed out of his body from the dragon beheading platform like lightning. Whether he was willing or not, as long as he came, or even as long as he was in this world, he would have to clash with Luo Wei's mysteries of space. He was the first person in the Haoran Great Realm to comprehend the power of space and reach the ultimate realm. The entire race of void spirits, including the colorful butterfly, had viewed him as an enemy since he gained sentience. From ancient times until now, this policy had never changed. Dragon of space and time. Luo Wei suddenly flew over. Dazzling spatial blades that were more than 3,000 meters long seemed to have morphed into his silver wings as they shot towards the dragon beheading platform together with him. In Yuan Qingxi, Huang Yin, and the others' eyes, Luo Wei seemed to have become a giant butterfly at this moment. His wings were made of dazzling spatial blades. My stupid junior brother, you've called me senior brother for 100 years. If I don't help you, should I help an outsider? Zhong Qichen shook his head and sighed helplessly. Like a magic trick, a golden bone suddenly appeared in his hand. With this golden bone, he cut open the layers of space that enveloped Yu Yuan. Yu Yuan was instantly freed. Feeling the existence of the dragon beheading platform, Yu Yuan felt a surge of warmth in his heart. He had many things to say, but he was suddenly at a loss for words. I know you don't understand. You can't understand it now. It's okay. You have plenty of time to slowly understand it in this life. Zhong Qichen blinked, his smile incomparably bright. Countless beams of seven-colored light flew out of his body and the dragon beheading platform. Luo Wei! He let out a soft shout. The spatial doors of light visible to the naked eye that had been cracked by Luo Wei began to shatter. Chapter 1480. Zhong Qichen opened his arms and smiled, as if he was welcoming Luo Wei's arrival. Because of his actions, billions of dazzling rays of light flew out from the seven-colored lake, the dragon beheading platform, and his body, from all the places where miasma and smoke gathered in this tainted world. The multicolored rays of light flowed with intoxicating colors, and were engraved with endless mysteries. At this moment, all of the living beings around the seven-colored lake had the same feeling. It was as if this world had suddenly been injected with fresh life, as if it had suddenly woken up from a deep slumber. Huang Yin and the earth demon in the wooden tablet felt it the most. The two ancient earth demons looked at Zhong Qichen as if they were looking at the most terrifying creature in the world. Their eyes were filled with fear and deeply hidden reverence. At this moment, the spatial doors of light that Luo Wei had explored and formed in this world shattered one after another. Those spatial blades that looked like bright silver wings slashed towards Zhong Qichen and the dragon beheading platform as he descended, and exploded like silver knives. Endless silver sparks and seven-colored rays of light intertwined in the air. It was as if a magnificent and incomparably gorgeous picture scroll had been drawn in the air above everyone's heads. The people below looked up at the sky, their minds shaken. Their senses and minds felt as if they had been cut into pieces. At this moment, Zhong Qichen didn't just destroy Luo Wei's spatial doors of light with his understanding of the power of space. He also used his understanding and control of this tainted world to use the profound laws hidden deep within the tainted world to fight against Luo Wei, an outsider. Zhong Qichen was like a god who controlled this world. Yuan Qingxi, Huang Yin, and the other evil spirits could deeply feel that the laws and laws hidden in this tainted world seemed to have become a part of Zhong Qichen's body. They were ordered by him to stop the descending Luo Wei and kill those dazzling spatial blades. Even Luo Wei's speed was affected by the power of time. He, who was as fast as lightning, seemed to be trapped in a swamp of time and slowed down strangely. Yu Yuan, who was the closest to Zhong Qichen, also suddenly had an extremely uncomfortable feeling. In his mind and perception, Luo Wei, with his mastery of the power of space, should have arrived in an instant. However, because Zhong Qichen also understood the profound mysteries of space, and because the dragon-slaying platform was right beneath his feet, he didn't dare to be so reckless. Then, with the help of her void phantom bloodline talent, she attempted to arrive at the location as quickly as possible. Luo Wei was also very fast, and he could travel thousands of miles in an instant. However, he was unable to truly descend upon the dragon beheading platform and come into contact with Zhong Qichen. Time seemed to slow down for Luo Wei by millions of times. Yu Yuan could faintly see a lot of strange silvery white sand floating down from Luo Wei's flying figure, carrying the aura of time. The light that flew out of the dragon-slaying platform contained the time sand that the space-time dragon had comprehended. This time sand came from the dragon corpse that Zhong Qichen had hidden deep within the dragon-slaying platform. When the gravel mixed into the light and destroyed the spatial blades, it also landed on Luo Wei's body, causing him to be restricted by the power of time. Zhong Qichen, the space-time dragon. Below the sky, Chen Liangquan, Yuan Qingxi, Huang Yin, and the other surviving evil demons were all shocked and solemn. They clearly hadn't expected that the space-time dragon, who had transformed into a human, could actually contend against Luo Wei after absorbing the power of the Rainbow Lake and cleansing his body. What level was Luo Wei at? How could Zhong Qichen, who had yet to ascend to the supreme divine realm and was still in the freedom realm, restrict Luo Wei. You've all overlooked that he's called the Spacetime Dragon, not the Space Dragon. The profound mysteries of space are just one of the laws he comprehended. Bai Gu, who was holding the scroll, reminded them with an indifferent expression. Yuan Qingxi trembled. Time, the power of time. The dragon-slaying platform is beneath his feet, and his dragon corpse is within it. When he obtained Yu Yuan's permission to use the power that originally belonged to him, the power of time also began to take effect. In this world, other than me, he's the one who can display the most combat strength, Bai Gu added. Yes, Yuan Qingxi's tone was bitter. After being cleansed by the Rainbow Lake, Zhong Qichen had leaped to the peak of the Freedom Realm, and his young spirit was like a rainbow dragon. Later, because he had helped Yu Yuan undo the spatial restraints, he had gained Yu Yuan's complete trust and could use his original power. Time, space, and his thorough understanding of the tainted world, and he happened to be in Howren. It could be said that he had all the advantages of time, place, and people. In this state, if he went all out, it wouldn't be too shocking for him to be able to restrict a portion of Luo Wei's power. Senior brother. Yu Yuan's eyes also shone brightly, encouraged by Zhong Qichen's current power. Help me. I can only stop him, but I can't defeat him. Zhong Qichen's voice miraculously came from Yu Yuan's heart. Yu Yuan was slightly surprised. When the first dragon breath that belonged to me came out of the dragon-slaying platform and entered my body, I saw something. Zhong Qichen's voice suddenly became very soft and low in Yu Yuan's heart. I saw that egg. Yu Yuan was slightly shocked. I sensed its aura. The dragon breaths that returned to me allowed me to see the things that you had done for it. Since you were the one who hatched it, you were the one who helped it grow. Then, no matter what you did in the past, you are currently an ally of the Dragon Clan. The reason why Long Jie was willing to be ordered by you was because Long Jie saw it, right? Yu Yuan instantly came to a realization. Back then, when he made the decision to hatch the baby Titanspinosaurus, he had hesitated and weighed the pros and cons for a long time. Since he was a dragon slayer in his first life, wouldn't he be laying a trap for himself if he hatched the baby Titanspinosaurus? By doing so, he was clearly digging a hole for himself. But he still made the decision to hatch the Titanspinosaurus, and his life altar contained another part of the supernatural ability of the source of the Yang Meridian. And this part of the power of creation happened to be the necessary nutrients for the growth of the baby beast. He let go and did it. Then, when he returned to Howren with the dragon-slaying platform, because of the existence of the baby beast, the original rules that restrained the Dragon Clan were instantly broken. He went to see Long Jie again. Long Jie smelled the aura of the baby beast and immediately betrayed the alliance of the 5 supreme beings. The Dragon Clan did not care about the 5 forces, nor did they care about the Shenhun sect and the Chamber of Commerce. They only recognized him. As for Zhong Qichen, after he had completely woken up, he had too many reasons to stand against him. He could have waited and watched, or he could have chosen to hit him when he was down. But he chose to stand by his side without hesitation and help him break the layers of space restrictions. It was only because he had made the decision to hatch the baby Titanspinosaurus that he was rewarded now. How can I help you? All kinds of thoughts flashed through his mind in a flash. He focused on his heart. He knew that Zhong Qichen would definitely be able to hear him. Crack, crack, crack. Cracks gradually appeared on Zhong Qichen's chest. 7 colored light flew out of the crack. His vast and refined blood and life force quickly disappeared. He had expected this. The bright smile on his face had a hint of bitterness. When he did not mention the Titanspinosaurus, he did not need to be secretive. He simply said openly, acting rashly, I can't bear the rules and laws for the time being. This is the result. Whether it's the power of time that originally belonged to me in my dragon corpse, or the sword of the great path that pulled the tainted world. He shook his head. This human body is still too weak. The seven-colored divine dragon's body that had not been cut into pieces could naturally bear the rules and divine power that he had comprehended. It could also control the power of time and space. As for Zhongqichen, who had transformed into a human, he did not cultivate the ancient desolate sect's secret body-tempering arts, nor did he have great fortune like Yu Yuan. His yang spirit was forged from the life altar and the great demon god's blood-colored crystal, mixed with the blood essence of various races. Although Zhongqichen's body had been cleansed by the seven-colored lake, its foundation was still not solid enough. In other words, it could not bear the original divine power and laws. Judging from the situation in front of him, he might be able to restrict Luo Wei, but the price he would have to pay was that his body and yang spirit would be destroyed. I'll help you restrict him. You, take this and pierce Luo Wei's heart. Zhongqichen smiled and handed over the golden bone he had found in the seven-colored lake, which had broken through the layers of space restrictions on Yu Yuan's body. This is... Yu Yuan reached out to take it in confusion. The moment the golden bone entered his hand, the confusion and doubt in his heart were instantly swept away. Then, he nodded heavily and said, "Okay." Chapter 1481. On the brightly colored surface of the lake, the golden lightning formed by Long Jie did not move because of Zhongqichen's departure. Long Jie still floated on the surface of the lake obediently. It was as if he knew that the closer he was to the seven-colored lake, the more timely Zhongqichen's help would be if he really encountered danger. As strong as Long Jie was, facing Luo Wei, who was ranked third in the universe, the white bone whose attitude was unknown, and the treacherous and complicated situation in front of him, the only thing he could think of to rely on was their dragon ancestor. He believed in Zhongqichen without reservation. He was originally worried that this ancestor, who had transformed into a human, was not clear about the mysteries inside the dragon-slaying platform and would point the conflict at Yu Yuan. When Zhongqichen landed on the dragon-slaying platform and opened his arms to fight Luo Wei, he understood that the ancestor had already seen through everything. He understood even more clearly than he did. Suddenly, the ancestor handed a golden skeleton to Yu Yuan. The moment Yu Yuan grabbed the golden skeleton, Long Jie's dragon blood began to boil, which was a rare sight to see. Long Jie's eyes were initially filled with confusion, but suddenly, like Yu Yuan, the confusion and blankness disappeared in an instant. In the next moment, the golden skeleton in Yu Yuan's hand seemed to have lost all of its golden scales, as if it had lost all of its brilliance. The golden armor and the dragon scales that were the size of fingernails shone with golden divine light. The golden skeleton suddenly turned into a sharp dragon horn. More than a dozen thin golden lightning bolts were the materialization of the laws of metal, and they were inside the dragon horn. The golden dragon horn was enshrouded in rainbow-colored light, which was also imbued with mysterious spatial ripples. It was as if it could make the golden dragon horn and the person who wielded it pass through space in an instant. Huff, huff. After the dragon horn appeared, the shrunken old lecherous dragon actually gasped for breath. His heartbeat was like the beating of a drum by the gods, and it made people's eardrums ache. That's a dragon horn of the golden dragon," the elegant demonic shadow inside the wooden tablet said in a sobbing voice. "Golden dragon! The strongest of the dragon clan. In ancient times, he was the overlord who intimidated all living beings in Howren and forced the ancient demons, earth devils, and ghosts to submit to him." Yuan Qingxi, Huang Yin, and the Headless Knight all cried out involuntarily. Luo Wei, who was stuck in the swamp of time, wasn't in a hurry or too worried when he saw Zhongqichen's chest being torn apart and even his sternum shattering. With the help of white bones of the specter god, Howren's supreme existence would not be able to find out what was going on underground, so he could stay here for a long time. As for Zhongqichen, It was obvious that he would not be able to hold on for long and would collapse very soon. Once Zhong Qichen lost his human body and was only left with his soul, there was nothing to be afraid of. Luo Wei even secretly left a few spatial nodes in the river of time to find a way to escape. All of a sudden, he saw that the golden bone Zhong Qichen had taken out was taken away by Yu Yuan. After some of the golden scales were removed, it turned into a dragon horn that emanated an aura that made people tremble in fear. The sharp Tao laws visible to the naked eye in the dragon horn made him feel deeply uneasy. However, why did Zhong Qichen give this to Yu Yuan instead of using its power himself? Luo Wei frowned. So, Yu Yuan chuckled softly. Through a secret communication method, he had learned the origin of this golden dragon horn. In his first life, before he was about to die, he had made a hasty deal with the space dragon. When he was unsealed, one of the space dragon's dragon souls had obtained great freedom. He had taken the opportunity to take this golden dragon horn out of the dragon beheading platform. He had secretly placed this golden dragon horn in the mustard seed space he had created at the bottom of the seven-colored lake. Before he died, he had created this mustard seed space with his full power. Even Luo Wei couldn't sense it. He had taken this golden dragon horn from the head of the golden colossal dragon by replacing it with a tree. He had also placed a fake one on it. He had gone to great lengths to plan and arrange it so that he could deal with Luo Wei in the future. Because he had seen the dragon egg of the Titanspinosaurus, he had suddenly changed his mind and given it to Luo Wei. The moment he had handed it over, he had casually wiped away the tricks he had done to the golden dragon horn. As the master of the dragon beheading platform, Luo Wei had refined this divine artifact countless times. His soul imprint had resonated with the dragon corpse inside. Naturally, he had left his mark on this golden dragon horn, so he could use it as well. Whoosh! Whoosh! 7 colored ripples spread out from the dragon beheading platform under his feet, forming a strange driving force. Yu Yuan, who was holding the golden dragon horn, suddenly shot towards Luo Wei. She was in perfect harmony with the dragon horn. Boom! At this moment, as if to cooperate with him, a strange power suddenly erupted from the dragon beheading platform where Zhong Qichen and Yu Yuan had left. The void collapsed in an instant. Time suddenly came to a complete standstill. The ultimate truths of space and time that Zhong Qichen had comprehended were finally fully displayed. Huang Yin, Yuan Qingxi, the Earth Demon, the Headless Horseman, Long Jie, and Chen Liangquan in the wooden tablet were all in a state of absolute stillness. Their bodies couldn't move. Their souls couldn't think. At this moment, Zhong Qichen, who was the initiator of all this, also became completely still as he had merged with the grand Tao of space and time. His injuries, the backlash he should have suffered, had completely stopped because of this. Luo Wei, the current high chieftain of the void spirits, instinctively wanted to break free from the mire of time because of Zhong Qichen's most powerful truths, but his body also stopped. However, as the third most powerful peak warrior in the vast starry river, his eyes were still moving. His soul could actually still think and weigh the gains and losses. It was just that his soul and awareness couldn't summon his body, which had been frozen by the joint forces of space and time. Therefore, he could only watch helplessly as a golden stone suddenly emerged from a spatial crack that had been torn apart by Zhong Qichen in the collapsed space. It was the third dragon beheading platform. Attracted by the golden dragon horn in Yu Yuan's hand, the dragon beheading platform, which was the sharpest part of the dragon beheading platform, was summoned by Yu Yuan. With Zhong Qichen's help, the dragon beheading platform traveled through the void from the forbidden land of the falling moons. As soon as the dragon beheading platform appeared, Yu Yuan, who had also been frozen, instantly woke up. Crack! The third piece of the dragon-slaying platform was perfectly compatible with the first piece that had already merged into one. It looked like the tip of an extremely sharp golden spear. The piece where the space-time dragon was buried was used to move time and space, the piece where the frost dragon was buried was used to be cold and hard, and the piece where the golden giant dragon was hidden was a sharp blade that could pierce through everything in the world. Yu Yuan and the golden dragon horn in his hand became a part of this sharp light. They became the most dazzling beam of golden light. Puff! As if it had instantly pierced through all obstructions, the golden light pierced straight into Luo Wei's heart. Unable to move, Luo Wei could only watch as the long dragon beheading platform, which had shrunk and merged into one, pierced into his heart with its sharpest end. His blood instantly sprayed out of his mouth and onto the dragon beheading platform. However, he didn't feel any pain at the first moment. It was also at this moment that the other outsider, who hadn't been completely sealed, shook the scroll in his hand after a long moment of hesitation. The scroll instantly unfurled, and a cluster of ghostly white soul shadows that carried thousands of imprints of memories instantly flew into the spot between his eyebrows. As time and space came to a standstill, the intelligent entity in the scroll merged with him without any hindrance. Unfortunately, no one noticed this scene. Since Zhong Qichen had taken the initiative to stop time and space, Luo Wei's attention was completely focused on the dragon beheading platform that had pierced into his chest. All he could do was watch his blood flowing out. Yu Yuan, on the other hand, was watching Luo Wei's blood being pulled to the point where the third dragon beheading platform joined the other two dragon beheading platforms, as if they were being sucked by a mysterious force. His blood seemed to have a binding effect, as if it were going to merge with the third dragon beheading platform. Fizz! 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 The spatial power that he had sensed and seen in the Nirvana spirit world flew out of numerous spatial rifts. The spatial power poured into Luo Wei's blood and helped the dragon beheading platform heal completely. It was so that the dragon beheading platform, which had been broken into 3 pieces, could be whole again. The blood of a peak 10th grade void spirit is actually so miraculous? Yu Yuan said excitedly. Chapter 1482. Strange dark green, dark blue, and silver mixed blood flowed out of Luo Wei's chest along the dragon beheading platform. This color of blood was clearly different from the other void spirit. It was full of mystery and incomparably gorgeous. Yu Yuan could even feel that Luo Wei's heart was also filled with the same mysterious aura. Luo Wei, who had reached the peak of his bloodline, seemed so different and unusual. The strange blood flowing from his heart spontaneously attracted the special abilities in the spatial rift. Then, it was absorbed by the dragon beheading platform and slowly merged with the third piece of the dragon beheading platform and the other 2 pieces. Divine light constantly shot out from it. Many hidden lightning bolts and divine chains of order were melting and dissolving Luo Wei's autonomous blood radiance within the blood. As the master of the dragon beheading platform, Yu Yuan knew that the dragon beheading platform, which had been cracked for tens of thousands of years, was using Luo Wei's rank 10 essence blood as the glue to heal it. In the next moment, he discovered that what he was holding was not the golden dragon horn. Instead, it was the dragon beheading platform that had shrunk into a long strip after the 3 pieces merged. The part he was holding tightly contained the frost dragon, which stabilized the front and back pieces with coldness and firmness. The sharp end of the golden spear stabbed into Luo Wei's chest, its sharp tip piercing into his heart. The part behind his wrist released a 7-colored light that constantly shone with the mysteries of space and time. As for Zhong Qichen, who was standing on the dragon beheading platform, the evil demon cauldron, and Yu Yi, who was in the cauldron, they were still hovering in midair in a completely static state. Without any external interference, the absolutely still Zhong Qichen and the cauldron would not fall down at all. The others, such as Yuan Qingxi, Huang Yin, the ancient earth demon in the wooden tablet, and the headless horseman, were all affected and became motionless after Zhong Qichen activated the ultimate profound. Then Yu Yuan's expression changed as he held the dragon beheading platform that had shrunk into a long strip and felt Luo Wei's essence blood helping the dragon beheading platform heal. He saw white bone. The scroll that had been held by white bone for a long time and had not been opened for a long time was now laid out in front of white bone. In the depths of Bai Gu's eyes, there was a cluster of soul light of the same color. It exploded like a star, exploding into countless fragments of memory light that merged with Bai Gu's soul. White bone chose to open the scroll when time and space were absolutely still. He chose to fully awaken as Yu Yuan was greatly shocked. White bones, which was at the level of a supreme ghost god, ignored the double seal of time and space, and was in the process of completing the soul. As for him, he was unable to predict what Yu would do next. After all, according to what Yui said, and from the attitude of Yuan Qingxi and the others, Yu's death in ancient times should have been caused by him in his first life. When Yu woke up, would he still be like Bai Gu, watching silently from the side? A bitter smile appeared on Yu Yuan's face. Gulp! Soon after, he was surprised to find that Luo Wei's 7 colored eyes were actually still moving. Raising his head, he met Luo Wei's gaze. In Luo Wei's 2 rainbow-colored eyes, he could actually see the excitement and surprise that was hidden deep inside. When Luo Wei's heart was pierced by the dragon beheading platform, his soul and body were restrained by Zhong Chichen's spacetime stop, and they were in a state of separation. Why would he be excited and surprised? Yu Yuan couldn't help but ponder. Could it be, at this moment, he suddenly felt that something was wrong? He felt that something that he hadn't figured out might happen. He lowered his head and looked at the dragon beheading platform again, looking at Luo Wei's blood that was constantly flowing to the joint. Luo Wei was a level 10 void spirit. He quietly hid in the 7-colored lake, wanting to take the dragon beheading platform away. And after the dragon beheading platform cracked, it became 3 pieces. Since his blood essence could heal the dragon beheading platform, once his soul and blood fused, would he be able to refine the dragon beheading platform and change its master? Following this train of thought, Yu Yuan felt that the special ability that was born from the dragon beheading platform was dissolving Luo Wei's blood essence. The reason why it was so smooth was that Luo Wei's soul couldn't participate, because the connection between his soul and blood essence was broken. But if he could break free from the spacetime seal and regain control of this body, then he might be able to refine the dragon beheading platform at this moment. Yu Yuan's expression changed dramatically. He looked at Luo Wei's eyes again, and then suddenly found that Luo Wei's gaze was fixed on white bones. Luo Wei was waiting for white bones to completely wake up, waiting for white bones to become Yu. White bones, who had transformed into Yu, ignored the spacetime seal, broke the stalemate, and changed the current situation. Yu Yuan sighed deeply. I'm here. Yu suddenly opened his mouth. All of the white sparks that had exploded in his eyes had already vanished, and he suddenly opened his mouth. He, as Yu, gave a response. From this moment on, he was no longer White Bones, but the leader of the Ghost Witch sect, Yu. And Yu Yuan's heart trembled when he heard this slightly gloomy and familiar voice that was a little different from before. It's been a long time, long time. Yu's expression was as wooden as usual, and there was not much emotion in his eyes. But Luo Wei's 7-colored eyes started to move vigorously because of his words, because he had woken up. The anticipation and ecstasy in Luo Wei's eyes became undisguised. Whoosh! Under Zhong Chichen's spacetime seal, white bones slowly flew toward the dragon beheading platform, Yu Yuan and Luo Wei holding the closed scroll. The joy in Luo Wei's eyes almost overflowed. He seemed to see his blood and soul reconnecting, the scene of him refining the dragon beheading platform and bringing it back to his clan. He would refine the dragon of space and time's skeleton, kill Zhong Chichen, and take away Zhong Chichen's dragon soul imprint. He would avenge all of his clansmen who had died at the hands of the dragon of space and time. He would accomplish something that had never been done in the history of the Void Spirits. He had too many reasons to be excited. On the other hand, Yu Yuan's heart gradually sank to the bottom. As the master of the dragon beheading platform, he knew very well that besides his senior brother's ultimate meaning, Luo Wei could not break free from the spacetime seal because the dragon beheading platform had stabbed into his heart. The heart of a non-human was the most important part of the entire body. To a certain extent, it was even more important than the soul. All bloodline secret arts and talents relied on the bloodline crystal chains engraved in the heart to activate. Once the heart was restrained, they could not use their talents and abilities, and their battle prowess would plummet. Luo Wei was a void spirit, not an otherworldly demon known for its powerful devil soul. After his heart was stabbed by the dragon beheading platform, he was in such a sorry state. Therefore, the dragon beheading platform could not be removed. Once it was removed, Luo Wei would have the ability to break the spacetime seal like white bones. But if he did not remove the dragon beheading platform, and his senior brother was completely still, how could he fight the awakened Yu Yu? Thinking of this, Yu Yuan sighed again. At this time, Yu Yu, who was holding the scroll, floated to his side when he chose to accept his fate. Under Luo Wei's joyful gaze, Yu Yu quietly stood next to him. Together with him, he looked at Luo Wei's heart being stabbed by the dragon beheading platform. Yu Yu did nothing. The joy and excitement in Luo Wei's eyes faded bit by bit, and was soon replaced by great confusion and puzzlement. As for Yu Yuan, whose body had stiffened, the expression on her face had also turned sluggish. What? Why did he not attack? What was the situation now? What was he thinking? Yu Yuan's mind was filled with questions. Why do you think I will help you? Help a non-human from the outer realms? Yu Yu said calmly, his face expressionless. But in the depths of his eyes there was a trace of mockery. The light in Luo Wei's eyes dimmed bit by bit because of these words. The scroll in Yu Yu's hand unfurled once more. Like a silk scarf, it wrapped itself around Luo Wei's neck, blocking his soul from entering his body. It even caused his eyes to close. Luo Wei became unperceivable, unable to listen to the conversation between Yu Yu and Yu Yuan. At this time, Yu Yu turned his head and looked at Yu Yuan, who was at a loss, and said, "Do you still remember how many times you and I have fought side by side? The previous life, this life, and now. From ancient times until now, you and I have been the most compatible comrade in arms. Of course, I did die at your hands." Chapter 1483. The scroll was wrapped around Luo Wei's neck. His soul was covered and his eyes were closed. Except for Yu Yuan and Yu Yu, every living being in this broken, dirty world, every living being, every living being, every living being, every space crack, every gust of wind blowing, the lake water down below, everything became still. Only Yu Yuan, who was holding the dragon-slaying platform, and Yu Yu, who was beside him, were unaffected. But Yu Yuan, after Yu Yu spoke, he seemed to have been sealed by time and space. He was stunned and motionless, because he didn't know how to respond to Yu Yu. He didn't remember what had happened. He didn't understand why Yu Yu, who had woken up, chose to stand on his side. "You fulfilled your promise," Yu Yu said softly. Yu Yuan was still in a daze. "What promise?" Yu Yu stared at him for a while. After confirming that he hadn't woken up yet, or that he didn't want to return as the original him, Yu Yu hesitated for a moment and began to explain calmly. "In that era I was one of the leaders of the Ghost Witch sect, and you were the leader of the Shunhun sect. You and I were already close friends before we reached the supreme level and found a way to condense the primordial spirit. I don't even remember how many times you and I fought together." Yu Yu's eyes were warm as he recalled the past. Later, when we decided to wield our blades against the Dragon Clan, it was still you and me who rushed to the forefront. The ones who were hurt the most by the Dragon Clan and almost died several times were also you and me. We trusted each other without reservation. This is something that has not changed even today. There was even a hint of a smile on Yu Yu's wooden face. Yu Yuan was affected by his words. He couldn't help but ask, "Your death, yes, it was done by you." Yu Yu nodded seriously. There was obviously some sadness on his face, but there was no hatred in his eyes. Huang Yin died, Zhu Ying died, and then Xianli. You were a direct participant in their deaths. In order to achieve your goal quickly, you borrowed the power of others. You wanted to end the battle quickly. You killed the three of them before they realized what was going on and before they were able to cause any serious damage to us. Of course, since you feel guilty, you have also left some leeway. Therefore, Huang Yin, Zhu Ying, and even Xianli have a chance to live and reappear in this world. At this point, Yu Yu stopped. Xianli, it was then that Yu Yuan learned the name of the other leader of the Ghost Witch sect. He felt a sense of familiarity. The three of them died for no apparent reason. In other words, they didn't know why they died and why you did it until they died. You didn't treat me like that. After you killed the three of them, you gave a reason to the public. You told all the great demons and human experts why you did it. Of course, you did this to give me an explanation, telling me that you had no choice. You have no choice but to do so in order to have any hope of defeating the dragons. But you didn't find me even after so long. If you didn't move, other people and demons wouldn't dare to find me. You gave me enough reasons and gave me enough time. You acquiesced and even condoned me to leave. Yu Yu took a deep breath and said softly, "I refuse to leave." Yu Yuan was shocked. You didn't want to kill me, so how could I make things difficult for you? Don't I know how important the deity position I occupied was to that long and difficult war? Of course I know. If I left Howren and asked for freedom in the outer world, the oath you made to me and the promise to the common people would never be fulfilled. Our world may still be under the rule of the Dragon Clan, and all those who resisted back then may have been killed by the Dragon Clan. How could I just stay out of it? So, I took the initiative to find you. I challenged you on the grounds that you betrayed me and killed Huang Yin, Zhu Ying, and Xianli. Yes, I lost. Thus, I perished, freeing up that deity seat. You seem to be smiling. You know that I came to you with the intention of dying. You also know that I didn't blame you for killing the three of them in a dishonorable way. Because I know that you didn't make the wrong choice. If you didn't do that, we wouldn't have had any chance of winning. Only you have such courage and such a cold and ruthless heart. The facts also proved that you were right. You succeeded. You succeeded in knocking down the dragons who had dominated Howren for countless years from their high and mighty altar. He took a deep breath. Then, he looked at Long Jie, who had turned into golden lightning, and then looked at Zhong Qichen, who was motionless. His face was full of emotion. I said that you fulfilled your promise because you made a promise to me before my soul was destroyed. You promised that you would let me be reborn at the right time and return the deity position you owed me. You will always fulfill your promise. Even if you are muddle-headed, your subconscious will still remember it. That's why you came to the land of terror, found me, and helped me become stronger step by step. You let me become a ghostly monarch first. Then, you helped me defeat the Nether capital and remove the biggest obstacle for me. If it weren't for you, I would have been on par with the Nether capital at most. It would have been hard to say who would have won. And when I went into secluded cultivation to break through to the ghostly divinity realm, it was you who moved the dragon-slaying platform away from me in the forbidden land of the fallen moons. The moment you moved the two dragon-slaying platforms away, I successfully became a ghostly monarch. I was only able to return to the deity position because of the source of my Yin bloodline. I stood even higher than before, and was no longer suppressed by the dead frost dragon's bloodline. Yu smiled again. Looking at the dragon-slaying platform in Yu Yuan's hand, he said, "The space dragon still has a wisp of his dragon soul. However, that frost dragon, which forced me to die, had its soul truly scattered. Not a single wisp of its dragon soul remained." He looked at Yu Yuan again. "You've already done more than enough for me. Not only have you fulfilled your promise, but you've also removed all obstacles for me and created all kinds of conditions for me to be reborn. Even the witch ghost that was refined from my discarnate soul was formed under your protection. That makes it very difficult for me to hate you." Yu Yu explained the whole story to Nie Tian. At this moment, Yu Yuan sensed with great clarity that Luo Wei's blood essence and the numerous spatial magics that had fused into the dragon-slaying platform, which had been split into 3 pieces, had completely merged back into one. There wasn't the slightest gap between them anymore. "You and I know each other too well. You even told me in detail about the wonders of your soul magics and the subtle fluctuations of your soul imprint. Even though my soul awareness in the painting couldn't transform or grow, it was still able to get a glimpse of the outside world through Yuan Qingxi. When he saw you for the first time, the me in the painting was touched by you. It was that familiar feeling, the subtle fluctuations of your soul that ordinary people couldn't sense. But at that time, you were only a medicine refiner who couldn't practice cultivation and could never wake up. That was a mistake. This mistake is the result of that damned space-time dragon's deliberate actions." Yu Yu's cold eyes fell on Zhong Qichen, and he snorted softly. "That despicable and cunning 7-colored dragon. If I had known that he was Zhong Qichen, I would have instructed Yuan Qingxi to destroy his soul long ago." Yu Yuan was taken aback. He couldn't help but look at Zhong Qichen with a strange expression. In his first life, when he had released the last dragon soul of the Dragon of Spacetime, he had made a hasty deal with the Dragon of Spacetime. He had given him great freedom, and the Dragon of Spacetime had promised to help him be reborn. Therefore, without violating the contract, the Dragon of Spacetime had deliberately chosen a body for him that couldn't practice cultivation. Therefore, he had become Hanch. This mistake had been made by his good senior martial brother, Zhong Qichen, who had gone to great lengths to create it for him. What his senior martial brother had done later and helped him wholeheartedly was because he hadn't been able to wake up. His senior martial brother didn't know that he was the Dragon of Spacetime and didn't know about the conflicts of the ancient times. He also didn't know that the reason why he couldn't practice cultivation was all because he had carefully chosen such a body for him before he was reborn as a human as a dragon soul. He hadn't broken the contract or violated the rules of the deal, but he had harmed him. Yu Yuan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yuan Qingxi's actions were instructed by me in the painting, Yu Yu continued. As my subordinate, everything he did was under my orders. He set up the ghost witch reincarnation formation and the reincarnation pill to correct that mistake and return everything to the right track. Why would I harm you? I'm doing this so that you can return in your strongest state. As soon as he finished speaking, Yu Yuan immediately understood everything. No wonder he had seen the ghost witch reincarnation formation in the secret chamber of the medicine god sect. This formation was to strengthen his heaven soul and earth soul so that he could adapt to the reincarnation pill and successfully reincarnate. Chapter 1484. Yu Yu, who was a man of few words, would only speak in such detail in front of Qin Lai. When Yu Yuan finished listening and was deep in thought, he noticed that Yu Yu's cold gaze was moving back and forth on his senior brother Zhong Qichen's body. He immediately knew that Yu Yu wanted to kill his senior brother. His senior brother was the dragon of space and time. Yu Yu and his first life's goal was to slay the dragon. His reincarnation as Hong Qi had wasted so many years in vain. It was also his senior martial brother's sinister move. Yu had too many reasons to kill his senior brother. I'll harvest Luo Wei's soul first. Yu's mind flickered. The streams of Nether River that seemed to be branded in his body were refined into gray, misty light that suddenly flew into the scroll around Luo Wei's neck, which looked like a silk scarf. He was not in a hurry to attack Zhong Qichen because he was worried that Zhong Qichen's death would cause the space-time seal to break. He first had to ensure that Luo Wei was dead and that Luo Wei would not be a threat. If he allowed Luo Wei's soul to connect with his body at any moment, it would cause new problems. This void spirit called Luo Wei is really unlucky, Yu said casually as he slowly cast a spell. He could have unleashed even more power. He was afraid that if he used all his bloodline secrets, even my concealment of this world would not be able to hide his existence underground. That's why he kept it hidden. He was afraid that all the supreme existences of Howren would suddenly notice him. He was alone outside in the most terrifying Howren. That's why he had so many worries. Yu Yuan was shocked. In his opinion, Luo Wei's seven-colored eyes were already terrifying enough after he took back control of his body. He did not expect that this was not Luo Wei's strongest power. He underestimated too much. He did not expect that seven-colored dragon's sinister plan. He did not expect you to be holding the dragon horn of a golden dragon. He also did not expect that the seven-colored dragon would open a spatial rift on the third dragon beheading platform and instantly arrive. He also did not expect that I would stab him again at a critical moment. Yu's eyes flashed with a mocking light. Whoosh, whoosh. Beams of colorful soul light were sucked into the scroll from Luo Wei's neck. Luo Wei's soul aura slowly weakened, until it completely disappeared. With his soul and body separated, Luo Wei, who only had his soul power left, faced the ghost god sovereign Yu in Howren's filthy underground world. His soul had been forcefully extracted. This was what Yu was most proficient in. Alright now, Yu raised his hand and made a grabbing motion. Luo Wei's soul was wrapped in the painting and it fell into his palm. He turned to look at Zhong Qichen. Zhong Qichen, who was originally in a state of absolute stillness, suddenly opened his eyes and smiled slyly at Yu. Yu's face was ice-cold. Yu Yuan was suddenly startled. If I hadn't predicted that you would choose to be with my junior brother at the critical moment, how would I have dared to fight with my full strength? How would I have dared to form a spacetime seal that could temporarily separate Luo Wei's soul from his body? How would I not know that in this state, I could only restrict Luo Wei, a supreme existence like you, for a moment? Luo Wei's moment of restriction would allow my junior brother to pierce his heart with the dragon beheading platform. As for you, Zhong Qichen smiled faintly. Of course, I predicted that you would fight alongside him. No matter how much you hate me and want me dead, you would wait for Luo Wei to die first. Only by getting rid of Luo Wei would you not have to worry about the spacetime seal disintegrating. However, Zhong Qichen laughed. Once you erase Luo Wei's soul or imprison him, I will be free. Whoosh! Luo Wei's body, covered in a hazy seven-colored light, instantly flew away from Yu Yuan's eyes. Zhong Qichen's hand replaced the sharp dragon beheading platform and stabbed into Luo Wei's chest. Then, he madly absorbed Luo Wei's remaining blood essence and abilities. You have Luo Wei's soul, and Yu Yuan has taken most of Luo Wei's blood essence to completely close the dragon beheading platform. As for me, I just want some leftovers. It's not too much, is it? The thin body of the current patriarch of the void spirits shriveled at a speed visible to the naked eye. Zhong Qichen was the spacetime dragon. What he desired the most was the mysteries of space contained in Luo Wei's blood and the secrets of the void that Luo Wei had comprehended. Luo Wei, who had lost his soul and had his heart pierced by the dragon beheading platform, was left with only his body. You don't do anything to me. You know that I never fight a battle that I'm not confident in, Zhong Qichen said with a smile. His chest, which had suffered from the backlash of resisting Luo Wei's attack and activating the spacetime seal, was rapidly healing with Luo Wei's remaining blood essence. Fizz! Fizz! The numerous spatial rifts that had opened because of him and Luo Wei, the bright blades of light that were thousands of meters long, and the spatial portals of light that Luo Wei had explored began to fill with his aura. He took the opportunity to take over a portion of Luo Wei's power and gather the knowledge that Luo Wei had left behind. With a thought, he could leave through any spatial portal of light and escape from the Howran Great Realm. He could also blast open the frozen space while the spacetime seal was still active, and kill Yuan Qingshi and everyone present who couldn't break free of the spacetime seal. He advanced and retreated as if he was at ease. He wasn't afraid of Yu at all. Even if he couldn't defeat Yu now, he could leave because he had comprehended the power of space. He could even kill Yuan Qingshi and most of the people here before he left. Alright, both of you, calm down. Yuan tried to smooth things over. I've always been calm, Zhong Qichen said with a smile. I've never been impulsive. A long, narrow spatial rift appeared behind him. He seemed to be able to obtain great freedom with a thought. Moreover, he believed that Yu wouldn't be able to stop him. Are you two done after a long time? Zhong Qichen sneered and looked at Yu and Yuan from left to right. One of my dragon souls has been in the dragon beheading platform for so many years. Naturally, I know that the relationship between the two of you is not ordinary. The two of you can never be enemies. Zhong Qichen suddenly frowned when he heard this. He glanced at the sky and pondered for a moment. Then, he said, Tan Chun Shan won't die. I'll have him come back. Take care of Long Jie for me. Whoosh. He grabbed Luo Wei's body and disappeared into the space crack behind him, disappearing in an instant. The moment he disappeared, the space-time seal was undone. Yuan Qingshi, Huang Yin, Chen Liangquan, and Long Jie woke up one after another. The spatial rifts quickly healed, and the portals of light closed. Everything returned to normal in an orderly manner. Chapter 1485. Senior Marshal Brother Zhong Qichen glanced at the sky as if he was worried about something. Then, he chose to leave Howran. He was the space-time dragon. He had once soared through outer space and explored countless star domains for Howran. His understanding of the universe might be even deeper than the current supreme expert. Moreover, he had just gathered a portion of Luo Wei's power. This included Luo Wei's knowledge of outer space. He left very decisively and calmly. Due to his departure, the space-time seal he had created was broken almost instantly. Everyone and everything that had been in a state of stillness suddenly came back to life. Everyone and everything started moving again. As a result, there was a huge commotion behind them. There was a huge commotion and confusion. Eyes were looking around everywhere. Yui, who was in the cauldron, suddenly fell with the cauldron in Yuan's hand after the dragon beheading platform shrunk. After she woke up, she immediately stabilized the fiendish demon cauldron. Then, she looked over and exclaimed, Master! Her memories and knowledge were still stuck at the moment when Zhong Qichen handed over the golden dragon horn. She, who did not see Luo Wei or Zhong Qichen, was puzzled. Then, she suddenly realized that the dragon beheading platform in Yuan's hand was different. As that person's maidservant, she was responsible for patrolling the small world inside the dragon beheading platform when that person was fighting in outer space. She was too familiar with the dragon beheading platform. Therefore, after a glance, she knew that the dragon beheading platform, which had been split apart for tens of thousands of years, had returned to its original state. She was so shocked that she could not speak. Whoosh! Tan Chun Shan floated out of the last secret spatial door just as it was about to close. After returning to Howran, Tan Chun Shan saw that all the spatial blades had disappeared and the rifts had closed. In his mind, he thought of Zhong Qichen, who had suddenly appeared and pointed out a path for him to return. Tan Chun Shan did not know what had happened. He chose to remain silent and observe the situation first. However, his gaze constantly fell on Yu Yuan. That was because he had seen a realm being shattered by a thick crimson sword light in the unknown domain that Luo Wei had thrown him to. He roughly knew that Yu Yuan's true battle prowess could already destroy the heavens and extinguish the earth. Where is Patriarch Spacetime of my clan? When the lewd old dragon woke up, the first figure it searched for was not Yu Yuan, but Zhong Qichen, who had transformed into a human. Since he did not see Zhong Qichen, he could only look at Yu Yuan and wait for Yu Yuan to explain. At this moment Yuan Qingxi, the patriarch of the Ghost Witch sect, trembled as he knelt at Yu Yu's feet. He kowtowed devoutly and then murmured in tears, "You're finally willing to come back." There was a subtle connection between him and the scroll in Yu Yu's hand. He clearly sensed that his master's soul awareness in the scroll had already merged with his master. The master he had served for many years had truly awakened after his memories merged with his master. Yu Yu, who was standing by the lake, bent down slightly and gently pressed his empty hand on Yuan Qingxi's head. He said gently, "Thank you for your hard work." Yuan Qingxi choked with sobs. "It's not hard for this old servant, not hard at all. This old servant has always dreamed that there would be a day when young master, no. Master, you can come back." In the beginning, Yu Yu was his young master. After Yu Yu ascended and became the leader of the Ghost Witch sect, he changed the way he addressed him. He changed the way he addressed him because he had also joined the Ghost Witch sect and become a member of a sect with a strict hierarchy. At this moment, because he was too emotional and because of Yu Yu's slightly intimate behavior, he could not help but blurt out, "Young master." However, he instantly corrected himself. His greeting of "young master" made Yu Yu absent-minded for a moment. He recalled how busy Yuan Qingxi had been before he stepped onto the path of cultivation and how he had served him for many years. Tens of thousands of years had passed. Many people had long forgotten about him, did not know who he was, and did not know whether he was dead or alive. There was an old man who had always been loyal to him. He had always done his best and did not hesitate to reincarnate again and again to prolong his life, longing for him to wake up. In the new era, everything had changed, but this old man's heart had never changed. Today, this old man had finally waited for his return. Yu Yu's eyes were filled with emotion. He nodded gently and personally helped Yuan Qingxi up. Then, he looked into Yuan Qingxi's eyes and said word by word, "From this moment on, the Ghost Witch sect no longer needs to hide. We can walk openly in Howren." The word "we" meant that he admitted his identity and admitted that he was the leader of the Ghost Witch sect. He admitted that he was Yu Yu. He suddenly looked at the sky and added, "There should also be a place for the Ghost Witch sect on the surface world." The surface world? As Yuan Qingxi spoke, his mouth trembled and he suddenly stuttered. How many years had it been? The survivors of the Ghost Witch sect were secretly recruited and cultivated by him. They only dared to sneak around in the shadows, afraid that they would be killed by the 5 supreme forces if they were exposed. Even in his dreams, he hoped that the Ghost Witch sect could light up the witch flag. To be able to openly tell everyone that he, Yuan Qingxi, was a member of the Ghost Witch sect. The Ghost Witch sect contributed a lot to the Howren Great Realm being able to break free from the rule of the dragon race. We also sacrificed the most. Yu Yu glanced at Yu Yuan as he said this. Then, he spoke again. They should return what belongs to us. Reputation, glory, and the divine position that should have belonged to us. Yu Yu. Yu Yu. Huang Yin of the Earth Demon race and Qin Ye, who was inside the wooden tablet, also looked over excitedly. Yu Yu's words made their devil blood boil as well, making them look forward to the future. After all, the Earth Demon clan and the Ghost Witch sect had always been strong allies. Yu Yu, where's Zhuing? Why can't I see her? Qinya in the tablet suddenly called out. Zhu Ying, the gazes of Chen Liangquan, Tan Junshan, Long Jie, and Yuan Qingxi all gathered on him. Zhu Ying shouldn't have colluded with the void spirits. Luo Wei is a foreign outsider. She broke the rules by choosing to work with outsiders. Yu Yu's expression was cold. As for Luo Wei, he should pay the price for daring to set foot in the Howran Great Realm. Therefore, Luo Wei is dead. His last words were directed at the sky of the tainted world. Before anyone realized it, the thick, tainted Yin energy that had been covering this area had already dissipated. Yu Yuan abruptly raised her head, only to see a giant mirror vanish abruptly. The sky-gazing mirror. Yu Yuan immediately realized that it was probably because Yu Yu had concealed the filthy underground world for a long time. The Divine Soul Sect, the Chamber of Commerce, and the nascent divinity realm experts and demon immortals of the 5 supreme sects were all worried that something big had happened down there. Senior Martial Brother Zhong Chechen glanced at the sky and hurriedly left without saying anything. He must have sensed that a supreme being intended to break through Yu Yu's veil of Yin energy and forcibly take a look down there. Luo Wei is dead. Luo Wei is dead. The survivors of this world and Zuan, who was holding the heaven-viewing mirror, felt as if they had been struck by lightning when they heard Yu Yu's last few words. Luo Wei, the patriarch of the void spirits. Rumor has it that he was lost in the abyss and died down there. Zuan and the desolate god flew up from heaven-reaching peak. The old ape was smoking a pipe. Smoke came out of his nostrils, ears, and eyes, but he didn't feel choked. Instead, his eyes were filled with shock. I can't believe it. The old ape shook his head. After a long time, he squeezed out these words. He couldn't believe that Luo Wei had died in the tainted world underground not long ago. Indeed, it's hard to believe. Zuan frowned. Yu Yuan, where's my ancestor? Hearing that Luo Wei was dead, Long Jie instantly turned into a human and rushed to Yu Yuan's side. He shouted anxiously, I don't care whether Luo Wei is dead or not. He didn't die together with Luo Wei, right? How could my good senior martial brother die so easily? Yu Yuan recalled Zhong Chechen's words before he left and asked him to take care of Long Jie. He said with mixed feelings, before you woke up, he had just left. He went to outer space and obtained great freedom. I can prove that. Tan Chun Shan interrupted. Chapter 1486. Since senior brother Zhong Chechen was the spacetime dragon of the ancient times, he had no choice but to leave Howran after waking up. He was obviously different from Yu Yu. Yu Yu was one of the leaders of the Ghost Witch sect, and the Ghost Witch sect, the Shunhun sect, and the ancient demon race were originally on the same side. They had once fought together against the dragon race. Yu Yu's death and the destruction of the Ghost Witch sect were also acts of helplessness. Therefore, neither Yu Yu nor the Ghost Witch sect had harmed the Shunhun sect in the ancient times. They even made way for the later human powerhouses and made way for a few of the higher sects, giving them 2 supreme god positions. No matter how one looked at it, it was the human race and the ancient demon race who owed the Ghost Witch sect and Yu Yu. Zhong Chechen's predecessor was the 7-colored divine dragon who was proficient in the mysteries of space and time. In the years when the people of Howran gathered together and fought against the dragon race, too many people had died to this 7-colored divine dragon. The ancient demon, many powerful human powerhouses, and some of the top cultivators of the Shunhun sect had all been slaughtered by him. Once the news of his successful awakening was made known to all parties, what would the consequences be? He was already a public enemy, and there was a high chance that he would be targeted by all parties. It was indeed too risky for him to stay in Howran, as he had not reached the nascent divinity stage. To him, charging into outer space was indeed a better choice. He could also take the opportunity to digest Luo Wei's corpse, refine the remaining essence of Luo Wei, and explore the secret galaxy that Luo Wei had opened and occupied. Ancestor, you're leaving me behind just like that? Long Jie, who had transformed into a human, stood beside Yu Yuan, looking a little disappointed and sad. He thought the space-time dragon had escaped alone. The moment he learned that Zhong Qichen was the space-time dragon, he began to look forward to the arrival of the golden age of the dragon race. He thought that a colorful dragon god would soon reappear in the world. Unexpectedly, after a moment of absent-mindedness, before he could figure out what had happened, the space-time dragon had decisively left. He really didn't leave you behind, but, for your own good and for the good of the dragon race. Yu Yuan suddenly understood his senior brother's intentions. He understood that his senior brother's departure was actually to fight for more space for the dragon race. This was to prevent Long Jie and the others from suffering another devastating blow before they had truly matured. Long Jie and the current dragon clan were the new generation after the ancient times. They had never tortured Howren, killed the Shunhun sect, the Ghost Witch sect, the Earth Demon clan, or the Ancient Demon clan. They had never killed the comrades and family members of the current supreme beings of the human race. Therefore, the Dragon clan could still survive in this world, even though it was a rather sullen method of being suppressed the entire time. But at the very least, the Dragon clan had always existed and had not been exterminated. If they weren't wiped out, then there was still hope. Now, the seal on the Dragon clan in this world had been lifted. The Dragon clan finally saw the light after tens of thousands of years. A baby Titanspinosaurus was even born in the dragon-slaying platform. Senior brother saw the possibility that the dragon race was about to make a comeback, so he left decisively. As the senior brother of the space-time dragon, after awakening, he was active in Howren. If the various forces found out, they would definitely pay too much attention to him, which would instead cause trouble for the Dragon clan. Perhaps the big secret hidden in the dragon-slaying platform would also be exposed because of this. Only by leaving could the Dragon clan have hope for a new future. Yu Huang Yin and the elegant Earth Demon in the wooden tomb tablet gathered beside Yu and Yuan Qingxi. After learning that Luo Wei was dead and Zhu Ying was missing, the two ancient Earth Demons who were at a loss could only ask him for advice. This was because Yu, one of the leaders of the Ghost Witch sect, had truly awakened. Moreover, it depicted an exciting and incomparably exciting scene. "Are you willing to listen to me?" Yu, who had an indifferent expression, held the long cylindrical scroll and looked at Huang Yin and the familiar ancient Earth Demon. You took the lead to ascend to the supreme level, reaching the supreme level that no spirit or foreign object has ever reached. Moreover, you have truly awakened. So, we want to know your opinion. We want to know where our Earth Demon clan should go from here. In order to show her respect, the elegant and beautiful ancient Earth Demon flew out of the tomb tablet. She stood on the edge of the tomb tablet and bowed to Yu with a sincere expression. Zhu Ying and Luo Wei's corpse were taken to outer space by the seven-colored dragon. I don't know whether Zhu Ying is alive or dead, and I can't help her. She chose to be with Luo Wei. No matter what happens to her, she has only herself to blame. Yu first expressed his attitude on this matter. Then, he glanced at Yu Yuan, who was talking to Long Jie, and fell silent. The two ancient Earth Demons and Yuan Qingxi still couldn't figure out why Yu Yuan was still alive. They didn't understand why Yu Yuan, the current master of the dragon-slaying platform, hadn't been killed by Yu. Seeing Yu looking at Yuan Qingxi and the two Earth Demons' expressions darkened. Yu pointed at Yu Yuan and said softly, "He will negotiate with the Shunhun sect and the Tongtian Trading Company. He will acknowledge the Ghost Witch sect's honorable status in the Howren world. He will restore our glory. We are Howren's warriors and pioneers." When these words came out of Yu's mouth, it made the hearts of those who heard it surge. However, Yuan Qingxi, Chen Liangquan, and Tan Chun Shan were all shocked by Yu Yu's words. Was Yu Yuan that powerful? Also, when did he agree to it? Everyone was puzzled. They all thought that even if Yu Yuan was in charge of the dragon-slaying platform, he was only a junior of the Shenhun sect. How could a lucky kid be so powerful that he could make the other god kings of the Shenhun sect agree to it? Under everyone's gaze, Yu Yuan nodded gently and said seriously, "I will communicate with them." "Can he do it?" Yuan Qingshi asked. Yu Yu didn't answer this question. Instead, he said to Huang Yin and the Earth Demon on the tomb tablet, "The only thing you can do is wait patiently in the filthy underground world." Wait for what? Huang Yin asked in confusion. Wait for a new supreme seat to become vacant. Fight for it with your own ability, Yu Yu said calmly. "I promise." He looked at the sky as if he was speaking to Zuan and the other supreme seats in Howren. Anyone from Howren who has reached the supreme seat is not allowed to enter the underground world without permission. You are not allowed to come down to kill Earth Demon. Anyone who sets foot in the underground world is my enemy. I will fight to the death. Yu Yu. By Gu. It's that guy. Zuan and the Desolate God were shocked again. Zuan and the Desolate God were familiar with the ancient history. They were obviously familiar with the name Yu Yu. When the man and the ape saw the white bones calling themselves Yu Yu, they thought about it for a moment and were not surprised. "I see." The Desolate God sighed and nodded. "To be honest, all the sects and forces in Howren owe them a lot. I don't think Yu Yu is going overboard by making such a request. He controls the Land of Terror and the Filthy World. He also has the support of the source of the Unveil. He does have the ability to do so," Zuan agreed. The two of them both knew how extraordinary and powerful the current Yu Yu was. Moreover, Yu Yu seemed to have just killed Luowei. "That's all I have to say. You can decide whether you want to listen or not." After saying this, Yu Yu looked at Yu Yuan again and said, "I want to go back to the Land of Terror and refine Luowei's soul to find the secrets related to the Chaos Hole in the Abyss. I think I'm not the only one. The other supreme seats in Howren also want to find out about the Chaos Hole that Luowei is exploring. Perhaps the next time we meet again, it will be during that meeting." Yu Yu gently tapped Yuan Qingshi with the scroll in his hand. Yuan Qingshi suddenly disappeared. Whoosh! In the next moment, he connected with the source of the Unveil. From the filthy world, he went straight to the Land of Terror. Chapter 1487. Yu Yu took Yuan Qingshi with him and left, returning to the Land of Terror in an instant. Huang Yin and the ancient Earth Demon standing on the tombstone were at a loss because of Qin Lai and Yuan Qingshi's departure, Luo Wei's death, and Zhu Ying's disappearance. It seemed that they wouldn't be able to make a decision anytime soon. At this time, Long Jie, Tan Junshan, and Chen Liangquan started to look at the two Earth Demons with malicious eyes. They wanted to take the opportunity to kill them. Without Luo Wei, Yuan Qingshi, and Yu Yu, they had a high chance of killing the two Earth Demons in front of them. "Didn't you hear what Yu Yu said before he left?" Yu Yuan glanced at them from the corner of his eyes. "I'm not a supreme expert, and I'm underground. It's not against the rules for me to attack them," Tan Chun Shan said with a sinister smile. "Can you kill us?" Huang Yin was furious. "Master!" Yui shouted from the mouth of the cauldron and transmitted her soul will. She wanted to use the power of Yu Yuan and the dragon beheading platform to pull Huang Yin back into the fiendish demon cauldron and refine this once powerful fiendish demon to continue suppressing him. She believed that the dragon beheading platform, which had been completely restored and was in Yu Yuan's hands, had the ability to do so. "Forget it." Yu Yuan shook his head and refused. The moment he sealed time and space, he talked to Yu Yu and learned that Zhuing, Huang Yin, and Xianli, who had been killed by him in his first life in the ancient era, had died unjustly. Before Yu Yu left, He made it clear that he would take care of the Earth Demon race until the great demon god was born. Since that was the case, he would give face to his former best friend. Let's go. With a thought, the dragon beheading platform, which he had held in his hand for a long time, flew into his Shen-K meridian. Yu Yuan's frown eased. He was sure that the dragon beheading platform had healed. Otherwise, the divine tool wouldn't have merged with him so smoothly. Master, may I ask a question? Yui floated out of the cauldron and ignored the gloomy Huang Yin. Instead, she looked at the headless knight who only had a crimson soul. What about you? Do you still want to fight alongside me? After the headless horseman's soul surged, he couldn't help but look at Huang Yin. Huang Yin snorted coldly. The knight hesitated for a moment before saying, "Since I have regained my freedom, I won't enter the cauldron. No matter how much you trusted and valued me at that time, once I enter the cauldron, I will naturally be branded with a slave imprint. As for Huang Yin, he has found me and woken me up. Even now, he has not treated me in this manner. So, he rejected Yui's invitation. Forget it, forget it. Good luck." Yui didn't force him. She only felt a little regretful. After saying this, she steered the fiendish demon cauldron and took the initiative to follow Yu Yuan's soaring figure. Below, Huang Yin and the elegant earth demon in the tomb tablet could only watch as the group of people left. After losing Lu Wei, the awakened Yu had expressed his stance, and Yuan Qingxi had also left. With their current strength, they could no longer threaten Yu Yuan and the others. If they forced a battle, they would only be humiliating themselves. The only thing I don't understand is how Yu could tolerate that kid called Yu Yuan. Too many things happened during our momentary absent-mindedness. I'm guessing that the ultimate meaning of the space-time dragon caused time and space to stop. But Yu should be able to ignore this seal. It was only when Huang Yin could no longer see Yu Yuan and the others that he raised the question in his heart. This is also what I find strange. The ancient earth demon on the tablet looked up at the sky and murmured, "You and I both know how arrogant and difficult to get along with Yu was. In that era, the number of people he truly acknowledged could be counted on one hand. After he ascended to the specter god realm with the identity of Baigu, the only person we heard of who was closely related to him was Yu Yuan. According to Yuan Qingxi, Yu Yuan is the person he chose? Could it be that Yu Yuan, who controls the dragon beheading platform, has long been a member of the Ghost Witch sect? Did Yu Yuan infiltrate the Shinhan sect under Yu's arrangement? The ancient earth demon with an elegant bearing analyzed deeply. Huang Yin's face was cold as he watched her talk. He didn't say anything for a long time. When she couldn't help but ask for Huang Yin's opinion, the ancestor of the earth demons curled his lips and said, Yu, I'm not as cunning as you. You're overthinking things. Excuse me, what do you have in mind? The female old demon snorted. This person called Yu Yuan is that person's successor. Deep down, Yu still acknowledges that person. He thinks that person killed me, Zhu Ying, and Xianli. Although it's not in the right way, it's reasonable. Huang Yin's expression was dark, the purple demonic fire in his eye sockets surging. He and that guy are the same kind of people. He also thinks that you deserve to die. The female earth demon said in shock. Of course. It wasn't just the three of us. He even felt that his own death was deserved. In order to achieve his ultimate goal, Yu is ruthless to others and to himself. Not long after he followed Tan Chun Shan and Chen Liangquan through the sky of the tainted world below, the light suddenly dimmed. Immediately afterwards, Yu Yuan discovered that he, Tan Junshan, and the others had entered an underground tunnel that was slightly winding, but led upward from beginning to end. He smelled the damp scent of the rosy cloud miasma sea. He could still use the dragon beheading platform's power in his acupoint. When he opened his eyes, he found many similar tunnels that led from below to above. It seemed that someone had deliberately opened them in ancient times. He no longer worried about anything. Inside his sea of awareness, his nether soul suddenly flew into the dragon beheading platform and entered the giant golden dragon's corpse. In the small heaven and earth inside the third dragon beheading platform, an enormous golden dragon had been cut into 5 pieces. The dragon's head was placed at the center of the heaven and earth. The 4 pieces of the golden dragon's corpse were scattered in the 4 corners, far away from the ferocious dragon's head. Rivers of golden dragon blood extended from the 4 pieces of the dragon's corpse to the dragon's head. The dragon's head was like an island in the middle of a lake of golden dragon blood. Dragon heads, dragon corpses, and skeletons of various colors could be seen everywhere in the open space. He had seen this scene with his own eyes when he first came into contact with the dragon beheading platform in the Fallen Moon Forbidden Land. Now, his nether soul arrived again, and he first looked at the dragon's horns on the dragon's head. The 2 golden dragon horns exuded a sharpness that could pierce through all things. One of them gave him a sense of familiarity, and he knew that Zhong Qichen had taken it out of the 7-colored lake to trap him. After confirming that the golden dragon horn had returned, he let out a sigh of relief. Then, he noticed that due to the fusion of the third dragon beheading platform and the existence of this new heaven and earth, the purplish-gold dragon egg, which should have been elsewhere, had actually entered this place. The purplish-gold dragon egg fell into a river that led to the dragon's head. The eggshell was mixed with the sticky dragon blood. Fizz! Fizz! Numerous rays of golden light were forcibly extracted from the 4 pieces of the giant golden dragon's corpse, its severed head, and its 2 golden horns by the purplish-gold dragon egg. They flew into the dragon egg one after another, filling up the missing bloodline crystal chains of the young Titanspinosaurus. "My good senior martial brother, no wonder you helped me so much." The expression on the face of Yu Yuan's nether soul, which was patrolling this part of the world, became strange. The young Titanspinosaurus, which he had nurtured for a while, was growing at a much faster rate at this moment. The vibrations of the dragon's heart were actually beautiful and pleasing to the ears. What did this mean? This young Titanspinosaurus yearned for the bloodline of the giant golden dragon, yearned for the remaining dragon blood and laws of the golden dragon god. The supreme giant star beast had died in the Howran Great World, which had created the prosperity of the dragon race. And the giant golden dragon had always been the patriarch of the dragon race, recognized as the strongest. What the old giant golden dragon had inherited should be one of the core bloodlines of the Titanspinosaurus. On the contrary, the secrets of the bloodlines of the spacetime dragon, the frost giant dragon, and the other dragon gods might have been refined by the Titanspinosaurus after depriving the other giant star beasts of their bloodlines. Now, because the third dragon beheading platform had returned, because the corpse of the level 10 giant golden dragon was still there, the young Titanspinosaurus was growing at an astonishing speed. Senior martial brother had long seen this and knew what the young beast was lacking. Therefore, when the spacetime seal was formed, senior martial brother tore a spatial rift and let him use the golden dragon horn to summon the third dragon beheading platform. He helped him use Luo Wei's blood essence to restore the dragon beheading platform to its original state. Senior martial brother had left, but he had sent the dead dragon god and the small world it was in to this young beast, to let it grow faster, break out of the dragon egg faster, and soar in the Howran, even the entire boundless sea of stars. Yu Yuan Qingshi, Chun Liangquan, and that headless knight. Furthermore, Zhong Qichen did not come out from underground and was not with them. Just as Tan Chun Shan had said, this matter could not be concealed. Yu Yuan Qingshi and the Earth Demons would not keep it a secret for the dragon race. What are you worried about? That those supreme existences will choose to go to outer space to hunt him down? Yu Yuan interrupted with a smile. Long Jie nodded. For now, they shouldn't have that much energy. Yu Yuan smiled. Also, my good senior brother won't die so easily. He couldn't die before, so it's even harder for him to die now. Let's go and give them an explanation. Yu Yuan flew like a bolt of lightning. After a while, he calmly broke through the netherfire poison stream formation and once again entered the swamp. Yu Yuan. The moment Lu Ying of the star Luna Sec saw him enter, she suddenly jumped up from the meteor fall star eyes. I thought I had to go to outer space to find you. I didn't expect you to come back yourself. Ha, look at me, I've also refined my yang spirit. I'm at the same realm as you. She raised her small fist. Many stars seemed to float in the depths of her bright eyes. Inside her graceful body, pure starlight continuously gathered towards her lower dantian. In the golden hall microcosm, a yang spirit glowing with starlight sat quietly and collected starlight to refine it. Lu Ying, who was more and more beautiful, exuded vitality and vitality. Her long hair fell behind her beautiful back like a waterfall. Her legs were long and her waist was slender. She was beautiful. Amazing. You've become much more amazing. Yu Yuan praised with a smile. Beautiful memories of him and Lu Ying flooded into his mind. When he walked towards Lu Ying, he saw Canli of the bright light race look at him. He smiled and nodded. Canli bowed slightly in Howren's etiquette. Then, she looked at Chen Liangquan and asked, "What happened?" The meteor eyes could no longer see into the underground. She, Lu Ying, and the others did not know what had happened in the underground world. As a result, the supreme existences of Howren all turned their attention to this place. She did not know that because Yu Yu had completely covered the underground world, all the supreme existences were on guard. They were worried that something would happen to the dragon beheading platform controlled by Yu Yuan, so they all gathered here. Something has indeed happened. It's something that can be recorded in the history books. Chen Liangquan's expression was calm, but every word he said shocked everyone present. Luo Wei, the patriarch of the void spirit race, merged with an earth devil progenitor in the underground world. Luo Wei was killed by the lord of the land of terror, Zhong Chichen, and Yu Yuan. Luo Wei. Can Li's expression changed. As the saintess of the bright light race, she knew how important Luo Wei was. Is the news accurate? Her voice trembled. Chen Liangquan nodded. It can't be wrong. There's no way Luo Wei can come back to life. I want to return to the bright light race immediately. Because of this shocking news, Canli immediately made up her mind. She gave Chen Liangquan a look, apologized to Yu Yuan, and then said to Lu Ying, "If you want to travel to outer space, you must come to the bright light race's domain. I'll take care of you. You and I hit it off very well. When I return, I'll tell my clansmen." "All right," Lu Ying said with a smile. She had never been to outer space. As for Luo Wei's name, she had only heard of it a few times. She did not know what Luo Wei's death meant to the intelligent beings in outer space. "We'll meet again." After saying this, Canli left first. Chen Liangquan was worried about her safety in Howren, so he wanted to make things clear. Therefore, after bidding farewell to Yu Yuan and Tan Chun Shan, he also left with Canli. Is Sect Master Zhong awake? Has he recovered, or has he become an earth devil? Du Yazi, Tong Rui, and Yi He, who were loyal to Zhong Chichen, were extremely puzzled by Chen Liangquan's words. "Yu Yuan, what happened to your senior martial brother?" Feng Zhong looked at him. Senior martial brother didn't transform into an earth devil, but, since there were many things that couldn't be kept a secret, Yu Yuan decided to tell the few people, who had been waiting for a long time, about what had happened in the underground world. Sect Master Zhong is the space-time dragon of the primordial era? Bai Gu, who has reached the level of a paragon ghost god, is actually a remnant of the Ghost Witch sect? What's his name, Yu Yu? Was what happened underground really that exciting? The people in front of the thatched hut were shocked, and then began to discuss in amazement. Long Jia looked at Du Yazi, Tong Rui, and Yi He. When the old dragon had first arrived, he had found these people unpleasant to the eye. But now, his gaze was much friendlier. These people had served his ancestor for many years and had done their best for him. When he was about to kill them, they had tried their best to stop him and begged Feng Zhong for mercy. In the old dragon's heart, Du Yazi, Tong Rui, and Yi He were his ancestors' servants. Yu Yuan, I'm afraid I have to return to the Chamber of Commerce's headquarters immediately. Feng Zhong took a deep breath, and his expression became unusually serious. He was clearly deeply shocked. Please help me inform the Shinhan sect that they must treat Yu Yu's request seriously, Yu Yuan said solemnly. After a moment of silence, he continued, Please let Divine King Taisher know that I fully support Yu Yu's request. Since Taisher knew about his identity in his first life, he would naturally be cautious. All right. Feng Zhong agreed. Yu Yuan glanced at Tong Rui, frowned, and said, Yu Yu is not a remnant of the Ghost Witch sect. Remember, the Ghost Witch sect was as famous as the Shinhan sect before the three greater sects and the Devil's Palace. In the primordial era, the Ghost Witch sect was the hope of the human race. Chapter 1489. Yu Yu of the Ghost Shaman Sect. Anwen, who was dressed in a long red robe and had skin so white that even the veins under his skin could be seen clearly, muttered. He wore a blood-red jade on his robe, a bloodstone of the universe ring on his hand, and a pair of blood-red snake earrings on his ears. He was dressed in a devilish red. He sat on a broken cliff in front of many palaces. Many scarlet banners fluttered in the air, and disciples poured buckets of bloody water into blood ponds everywhere. Many naked men and women could be seen practicing blood refinement incantation in the blood-red, misty ponds. This was the headquarters of the blood god. You kept me in the dark for so long. Anwen chuckled strangely as he faced the land of terror. What's so funny? And Ziqing had heard the news from the Tongtian Trading Company, and came over in shock. That old bastard Yuan Qing has been lying to me for years, Anwen snorted. Yuan Qing? And Ziqing was taken aback. Yuan Qingshi, the man the Tongtian Trading Company talked about. I've dealt with him in private before. He knows a lot of secrets, and he has a lot of treasures in his possession, Anwen said casually. Do you know why I saved Ghost King Chuling back then? It wasn't a coincidence? And Ziqing asked in surprise. It was Ghost King Chuling who had taken care of her when she went to the Land of Terror to cleanse her own soul. Before White Bones had become a Ghost King, Chuling had told her that White Bones was extraordinary, and had taken her to the Land of Terror for a while. The reason Ghost King Chuling had treated her so well was because Anwen had helped her. According to the outside world, when Chuling left the Land of Despair in her early years, she was targeted by the experts of the Thunder Sect and the Spirit Void Sect. She was almost killed and refined by the two sections. It was Anwen's timely rescue that saved Chuling's life. After that, Chuling had been invited to stay at the Blood God for a while. After returning to the Land of Terror, he had successfully become one of the Ghost Kings with Anwen's help. Chuling was the youngest Ghost King at that time. Yuan Qing, no, that old bastard Yuan Qingshi, made a deal with me, and asked me to save Chuling. The old bastard had been reincarnated several times to extend his life. Chuling should have been his great-grandson before he became a ghost. The spirit-locking diagram in Chuling's possession was also given to him by that old man. The spirit-sealing diagram was a treasure of the Ghost Shaman sect, and Chuling was his great-grandson. Anwen's eyes narrowed. Chuling is Yuan Qingshi's descendant? And Ziqing was stunned. Since Yu Xin is Yu Yu, and the old man is Yu Shui's dog, I don't think I can do anything to him. Anwen gazed in the direction of the Land of Terror. The Heavenly Evil Sect, the Ghost Shaman Sect, and the poison sect aren't that scary if they're alone, but if they join forces with you and that old bastard. TSK, Zhu Zhenxing will have a hard time. Anwen grinned in schadenfreude. Zhu Zhenxing wanted to come to the blood god to find me, so I had to prepare for a while. Now that he knows my old friend is Yu, I bet he won't be able to sleep. In the land of terror, inside the majestic Yin mountain that looked like silver. Wrapped in the scroll, Yuan Qingshi bent over and lowered his head. Inside the spacious stone hall in the cave, he told Yu in detail about the current situation of the ghost shaman sect and how many people were still alive. Whoosh! The female ghost shaman sect disciple that Yu Yuan and Long Jie had met at the bottom of the sea wearing the ghost raising diagram stepped into the cave after receiving permission. She knelt down before Yu and said, "Lian Jing greets Lord Yu. Congratulations on waking up, my lord." "Rise," Yu said calmly. Lian Jing, the ghost shaman sect's patriarch, rose with a smile. At this moment, Yu learned from Yuan Qingshi that Ghost King Chuling was Yuan Qingshi's descendant. He also knew that Lian Jing had restrained Chuling's spirit-locking diagram from afar to create chaos. Yuan Qingshi had gone to great lengths to make Chuling a ghost king and even gave him the spirit-locking diagram. Of course, he wouldn't harm Chuling. In fact, Yuan Qingshi had purposely allowed Chuling to learn the secret incantations he practiced through other means. Yuan Qingshi had secretly helped Chuling a lot in order to become the youngest ghost king in the land of terror and turn misfortunes into blessings at critical moments. After all, Chuling was a member of the ghost shaman sect, even if he didn't know it himself. Luo Yu, the former sect master of voodoo, had survived, cultivated in the land of terror, and become a Rahu because of Yuan Qingshi. Luo Yu had been chosen by Yuan Qingshi to be a future member of the ghost shaman sect. As he wished, the two of them circled around Yu Shui. They had become his master's right-hand men. "There are traces of my master in the ghost feeding diagram. Please help us find him, Lord Yu. Tens of thousands of years have passed. I know he's still alive, but I can't find him anywhere." Lian Jing presented the ghost feeding diagram with both hands. She had come to the land of terror in the form of a spirit. Without the ghost feeding diagram's protection, she was safe. Unlike Yuan Qingshi, who had to be wrapped in the ghost shaman sect's painting because he was flesh and blood. "Master, we haven't heard from Xianli. Since you can communicate with the source of the Yin Meridian and become a ghost immortal, you may be able to use the ghost feeding diagram to dig him out using the traces left by Xianli." Yuan Qingshi's face was full of expectation. How owes Xianli a deity position? Yu had returned. If Xianli reappeared in her nascent soul, the ghost shaman sect would have these two leaders. Then, Voodoo, Guifu school, and the heavenly evil sect would be united. Yuan Qingshi seemed to see the past. "I can find him." The moment Yu held the ghost-feeding diagram and sensed the aura left by Xianli, he was certain. Yuan Qingshi and Lian Jing were excited. Rosy cloud miasma C. Yu Yuan and Lu Ying, whom he hadn't seen for a long time, talked about his experience in outer space under the night sky. Tan Junshan left, Chen Liangquan left, even that old dragon was in a hurry to return to the Dragon Island, to tell those old fellows of the dragon race that Zhong Chichen was their ancestor, and that he had successfully woken up. The old dragon also had to rearrange. As for Poison Yazi and the others, they were shocked when they heard that Zhong Chichen was the reincarnation of the dragon of space and time. Then, they were expelled by Yu Yuan and told to return to the medicine god sect to wait for news. Without a backbone, they had no choice but to obediently obey and leave. Without the protection of the dark fire poison stream formation, the few thatched cottages that Yu Yuan lived in had become forbidden areas in the miasma sea of colorful clouds. All kinds of evil beings had to avoid them. This gave Yu Yuan and Lu Ying plenty of time to chat. "Io, under the moonlight and flowers, sweet love. I hope I didn't disturb you too?" And Ziqing, who was wearing a purple dress, floated over under the cold moonlight. Her beautiful eyes were full of ridicule and mockery. "My good young master, your servant has been waiting for your arrival in the blood god sect. I've waited for you for so long, but you didn't show up. It turns out that you have a beautiful woman to accompany you and are too happy to think about home. Wichan, what are you doing here?" Lu Ying frowned. "I'm here to invite my young master." Just as Yu Yuan was about to say something, she suddenly noticed something sneakily moving around the edge of the miasma sea of colorful clouds. Chapter 1490. And Ziqing started to stir up trouble as soon as she arrived. Lu Ying put her hands on her hips, not showing any signs of weakness, and went head-to-head with her. Yu Yuan's expression was as calm as ever as he listened to the two women's endless bickering. Secretly, he was borrowing the power of the dragon beheading platform to strengthen his soul awareness. His soul perception was focused on a gray rat that had just snuck into the rosy cloud miasma sea. The gray rat, which couldn't even be considered a demon beast, was carefully examining its surroundings with its small green eyes. After entering, the gray rat wasn't in a hurry to move. Instead, it waited quietly in the grass of a swamp. It seemed to be checking if there was anything unusual or if anyone had noticed it. It was very wretched. However, as soon as it appeared, Yu Yuan sensed it. With the illumination of the dragon beheading platform, he immediately saw through its external appearance and saw the true nature of its internal structure. 7 poisonous rivers of different colors that were as thin as hair were hidden inside the gray rat's body. It was none other than the 7 loathers that had originally been born in the rosy cloud miasma sea. This 7 loathers had been trapped in the brimming spirit world that digs, the colorful butterfly, and the fallen divine tree of the dark spirit race had worked together to set up. According to 7 loathers, he wasn't afraid of the fallen divine tree, and he could even help. Princess Qing Luan had also confirmed this, saying that 7 loathers could partially restrict the fallen divine tree. Not long ago, when Huang Yin had heard Yuan Qingxi mention 7 loathers in the underground world, his emotions had been greatly stirred, and he had even questioned Yuan Qingxi. This meant that Huang Yin and the other Earth Devil progenitors cared a lot about 7 loathers. After Nye Qingtian had imprisoned and suppressed 7 loathers, he had taken him to the Starry River and sealed him under the floating life realm. He hadn't been able to break free for many years. This meant that Nye Qingtian also cared a lot about him. What was so special about this thing? Yu Yuan couldn't help but pay attention to it. He patiently listened to Lu Ying and Ziqing's tit-for-tat argument while observing them in secret. After a while, the gray rat that had been possessed by 7 loathers slowly sank into the mud of the swamp. 7 poisonous rivers of different colors flew out of the gray rat's body one after another. The 7 poisonous rivers that were originally as thin as hair seemed to have a destination long ago. They either merged into a putrid pool, merged with a thick miasma cloud, sank into the roots of a strange plant underground, a half-buried skeleton, or a blade of grass. After the 7 thin streams separated, they revealed their original bright colors. Yu Yuan examined them carefully, and discovered that the 7 loaves corresponded to the 7 colors of the 7-colored lake in the tainted world. The 7 loathsome mantis demons were divided into 7 parts, scattered and hidden in the 7 regions of the rosy cloud miasma sea. They were very far away, carefully gathering their superpowers. The superpower he gathered was quickly refined and purified. It gave Yu Yuan the feeling that it was the same as the water of the Rainbow Lake. As the controller of the dragon beheading platform, Yu Yuan, whose spirit perception was incomparably sharp, had a vague feeling due to the return of the 7 loathsome mantis demons and the fact that he had begun to gather power. The hidden laws of the rosy cloud miasma sea that had been missing for thousands of years seemed to have been repaired. The rosy cloud miasma sea became more complete due to the return of the 7 loathsome mantis demons. At the same time, in the tainted world underground, Huang Yin, who was immersed in the seven-colored lake, and the ancient earth demons in the wooden tomb tablet had gathered a few more old earth demons. The group of earth demon seniors surrounding the seven-colored lake were having a heated discussion. They were discussing whether they should listen to Yu of the Ghost Shaman sect and choose to go with the Ghost Shaman sect, or ignore Yu and continue to follow the strategy they had discussed with Jian Ying and try to contact the experts of the outside world to overthrow the current ruler of Hauran. It had been half a month since Zhong Chichen left and Yu disappeared. They still couldn't decide. Splash! Huang Yin suddenly flew out of the seven-colored lake, the purple demonic flames in his eye sockets flickering violently. He lowered his head and looked at the water of the seven-colored lake. It was gradually divided into 7 colors. The 7-colored lake water sometimes split into distinct pieces, and sometimes suddenly gathered together. It glowed with new wonders, as if it was deriving an ancient secret art that had disappeared for many years. The lake water originally gave off a feeling of death, but at this moment it seemed to come alive. The lake water was always flowing and changing. The young earth demons born in a new era floated above the seven-colored lake in surprise. They felt the movement of the lake water and looked at the seven-colored lake water. From the lake water of different colors, they could faintly see the transformation method of a devil's soul and the unique demonic arts that attached itself to thousands of beings. 7 Loathsome has returned. The elegant earth demon in the wooden tomb tablet exclaimed in joy. Huang Yin nodded heavily. That boy called Yu Yuan didn't lie to us about this. We thought that 7 Loathsome had died a long time ago, but he was only imprisoned in the outside world. Sect Masterin, what you really want to see is my sun god, right? Io, what are you talking about, young master? The main thing is that I want to see you, Zicheng said with a smile. After that, the two women really did wait patiently within the nether fire poison stream formation. Yu Yuan, on the other hand, was distracted by sensing the changes of the baby Titanspinosaurus inside the dragon-slaying platform while also staring at 7 Love. A few days later, he noticed that thick clouds of smoke and miasma were flowing out of the narrow tunnels that he, Tan Chun Shan, and the others had returned to the surface from underground. After sensing for a bit, he knew that the miasma floating above the seven-colored lake had flowed into the rainbow miasma sea. And it was probably done on purpose. After returning secretly, the efficiency of the 7 hybrid demons' absorbing abilities had greatly increased. 7 Loaves was quickly recovering its strength. The 7 separated poisonous rivers seemed to be crystallizing poison and souls. This guy really knows how to dig. Yu Yuan's interest was piqued. He also wanted to see what 7 Loaves would become after being welcomed by the Rainbow Miasma Sea and the Earth Demons. Chapter 1491. With a thought, Yu Yuan's Yin spirit flew into the fiendish demon cauldron. In the world inside the cauldron, he could see earth demons, ghosts, and spirits filling the grooves of the stairs below. Yui's figure shuttled between the stairs, carefully selecting suitable fiendish demons. As the cauldron's soul, she could roughly see the potential of the earth demons, ghosts, and spirits during the process of being refined into fiendish demons. He would be able to know if the newly formed fiendish demon had the potential to become an omnipotent and what level it could reach in the end. When she found great potential and obvious room for improvement, she would pour her power to help such fiendish demons grow faster. On the 10th floor, in addition to Consort Han, Ghost Raccoon gathered into a purple raccoon. Ghost Raccoon was branded with a slave imprint again. The purple demonic fire in its eyes weakened a little, and Yu Yuan felt that it was much more docile. When Yu Yuan looked at it, Ghost Raccoon lowered its head, not daring to look at him. On the 9th floor, a scarlet banner and a pitch-black spirit snake appeared. The red blood leech in the scarlet banner was one of the strongest fiendish demons. When it was pulled in and refined, it was directly on the 9th floor. The black spirit snake-like earth demon was attached to a thunder snake. In the end, Yui broke the thunder snake and took its demon soul in. The black woman, armor breaker, yellow lantern demon, and silver lock were also standing on the 9th floor. All of them had the potential to reach the ultimate level. Master, the red blood leech and the coiling snake are very strong. When they are pulled in, they are on the 9th floor. After a period of refinement, they will directly reach the 10th floor and regain their intelligence. Seeing his Een spirit moving quickly, Yui floated over and explained excitedly. She had gained the most from the trip to the underground world of filth. There were tens of thousands of souls that could be refined into low-level fiendish demons. The black woman, armor breaker, yellow lantern demon, and silver lock had all improved. The red blood leech and the coiling snake could make another breakthrough in a short time. Like Consort Han and Ghost Raccoon, they could regain their intelligence and recover their temporarily hidden memories. She also felt that the black woman also had the potential to reach the 10th floor in a short time. The power of the fiendish demon cauldron had greatly increased because of this. Hearing her story and her yearning for the fiendish demon cauldron, Yu Yuan nodded. I didn't come down to ask you these things. How much do you know about Zhuing, Huang Yin, and Xianli of Ghost Witch sect? Since Yui used to be his maidservant in the primordial era, and her memories were gradually recovering due to the fiendish demon cauldron's recovery, Yu Yuan wanted to get to the bottom of it. His conversation with Yu was on the surface had was onzes, was it? Was spirit demon kaisazazas? Onzazazazaz ons on a s's dragonus. I've only heard of the names of these four. Dragon, Cheens onzas. She told Yu Yuan that she hadn't been his servant when he joined forces with the Earth Demon Cauldron, Ghost Witch sect, and other oppressed people of Howran to overthrow the dragon race. She was lucky enough to become a member of the Shunhun sect. When she went to serve that person, the Shunhun sect was already the overlord of Howran. That person had attacked the Earth Demon Cauldron and the Ghost Witch sect a long time ago. She hadn't participated in it. She had only learned from the Shunhun sect that the two ancestors of the Earth Demon Cauldron and the two leaders of the Ghost Witch sect had been killed by that person. She didn't know much about the Earth Demon Cauldron and the tainted underground world, because when she was alive, the Earth Demon Cauldron and the survivors of the Ghost Witch sect didn't dare to show their faces. They wished they could never come out. Yu Yuan, who didn't get anything out of her, seemed a little disappointed. He shook his head and planned to leave. Master. Consort Han, who was on the 10th floor, suddenly spoke. Yu Yuan, Yui, and even Yuli looked at her in surprise. There were only a few people in the cauldron who still had consciousness. What do you want to say? Yu Yuan asked curiously. Cold Concubine's translucent white body was covered in cracks that could be seen clearly. Sometimes she would transform into a suit of ice armor, and sometimes she would transform into a blade of ice. She had once received gifts from Chen Qinghuang and the frigid snow bear. She was already extraordinary, but now she was seriously injured. I can't recover quickly in the cauldron. My wounds need to be nourished by frost power, not the repair of my soul, Consort Han said frankly. Yui sighed softly. In the previous battle, the one who had helped her the most was Concubine Han. Without Consort Han, she would have been seriously injured. Her refined body and soul would have been violently attacked. But Consort Han's protection helped her share the damage, so she wasn't seriously injured. It's simple. Yu Yuan nodded slightly. The aura of his Een spirit wrapped around Consort Han and communicated with the dragon beheading platform. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, his Een spirit had completed its shift in his meridians. He also took Consort Han to the dragon beheading platform where the frost dragon's corpse was buried. A bright moon hung high in the sky, and a figure was condensing inside. It was the bloodline of a violent bear. The mouth of the frigid abyss sat on the ground covered in silver like a giant stairwell. Light flowed inside the walls of the well, and it suddenly attracted Yu Yuan's attention. With a thought, he saw the silver ground where the space dragon was. The 7 pieces of the space dragon's corpse were glowing dimly. The parts of the dragon's corpse that were cut off shone the brightest. There was a 7-colored swamp below the winding dragon's corpse. It was unknown when it had formed. The 7-colored swamp was filled with all kinds of energy and the aura of space and time. Yu Yuan felt a sense of familiarity from the aura emanating from the broken dragon carcass. Then, in the world he ruled, where the space dragon was located, he shouted softly, "Trace!" Space and time twisted wildly, and the river of time suddenly flowed in reverse in this world. Suddenly, Yu Yuan saw that after Luo Wei's blood essence healed the dragon beheading platform, the excess was affected by this space and turned into raindrops that fell down. They fell on the space dragon's corpse and this world, and passively merged with it. He also noticed that the distance between the 7 mountain-like dragon corpses, which were originally very far away, was gradually getting closer and closer. It was as if they wanted to close together like the dragon beheading platform. "My good senior brother, you are really greedy," Yu Yuan snorted coldly. He didn't need to think at all to know that at the end of the space-time seal, when senior brother Zhong Chichen woke up, he took the opportunity to talk to him and Yu to implicate a part of Luo Wei's blood essence and deliberately sprinkled it on the 7 dragon corpses. What did he want to do? Didn't he want the dragon corpses that had been cut into 7 parts to heal like the dragon beheading platform? If it weren't for the fact that Howren's Supreme would forcefully break through Yu's cover, he would have been long-winded and delayed for a while to let the 7 dragon corpses benefit more. He was leaving a backup plan for himself. He planned to use his Yang spirit to fuse with the complete dragon corpses in the future or do something else. In short, everything he did was for his own sake. "Master." Consort Han sat on the cold ground. Her translucent body was absorbing the power of the extreme cold. Suddenly, she said, "Master, please bring me here because there is something else I want to say. Yuli is here, and Howren has many earth demons in the fiend demon cauldron. I'm afraid that when they regain their intelligence in the future, they will remember what I said." Her foreshadowing caused Yu Yuan's expression to become serious. "What do you want to say?" "In the tainted underground world, I fought side by side with her. I touched Huang Yin's power, I saw more earth demons, and I also saw that strange 7-colored lake." Consort Han's expression was solemn as she spoke. Obviously, she had thought it through carefully. "I feel that Huang Yin, the one in the tomb tablet, and the shadow of the earth demon progenitor that Luo Wei took away, are fundamentally the same as us." She stopped speaking to give Yu Yuan time to digest. Yu Yuan's Yin spirit rippled slightly. The waves in his soul represented his emotional turmoil. "You're saying that the ancient earth demons you met and the earth demon progenitors are fundamentally the same as you?" Consort Han nodded seriously. "I feel that's the case. But you are a heavenly demon outside of Howren," Yu Yuan exclaimed softly. "Don't you think that they are also heavenly demons? When they were born, they were only devil souls and in the form of spirit. They also need to attach themselves to or refine a body. They are also demon gods, great demon gods. This is a hierarchy. Also, isn't the 7-colored lake in the tainted world a blood spirit altar?" Chapter 1492. Was the 7-colored lake a blood spirit altar? Consort Han's words made Yu Yuan ponder deeply. He thought about the similarities between Howren's so-called earth demons and the outer realm's heavenly demons. The blue demon's tier that Tian Tsang controlled was the blood spirit altar, the most representative of the outer realm's heavenly demons. This item could help the heavenly demons grow, allowing them to quickly recover their strength after being heavily injured. It was said that the Blood Spirit Altar had the ability to reassemble the souls of heavenly demons after being destroyed. He was very familiar with the Blood Spirit Altar. It was originally divided into 3 parts: the Blood Spirit Altar, the Spirit Altar, and the filthy and turbid demon fetus. The Blood Spirit Altar was filled with pure blood energy, the Spirit Altar was filled with pure soul energy, and the turbid demon fetus was filled with filth. But the 7-colored lake was different. Yu Yuan felt that the 7-colored lake was a mixture of the Blood Spirit Altar, the Spirit Altar, and the turbid demon fetus. Inside, there was not only pure blood energy, but also rich soul energy, but also all kinds of filth, evil thoughts, poison, and all kinds of impurities. The 7-colored lake was a hodgepodge. But Huang Yin and Zhu Ying could indeed obtain power from the 7-colored lake and use it to recover. According to the information he received, the 7-colored lake could also give birth to new earth demons. This was something that the blue demon's tear did not have. Thus, he voiced out the confusion in his heart. I guess that the 7-colored lake should be a strange blood spirit altar. It has undergone a new change in Howren in the turbid world underground. The 7-colored lake has merged the blood spirit altar, the spirit altar, and the turbid demon fetus, making the 3 of them one. Huang Yin, Zhu Ying, who was taken away by the spacetime dragon, and the ancient earth devil in the wooden tablet all have very pure devil souls. The 3 of them are almost no different from us. Later on, like the gray fox that was torn apart by the spatial blade, the spirit fox, and the guy called coiling snake, their souls are no longer pure. It seems that they have merged more deeply with Howren's power or aura. Consort Han explained again. According to her, the oldest earth demons were heavenly demons like her. As time passed, the so-called earth demons that were born later became slightly different from the heavenly demons. The closer the earth demons were to the current era, the greater the difference between them and the heavenly demons. It was as if they were gradually being assimilated into ghosts and nether spirits. The mark of the devil soul was slowly fading. The ghost witch sect could control ghosts and knew how to refine witchcraft ghosts. The many spirits and ghosts that appeared in the land of despair were also strictly divided into ranks, but they were divided into earth ghosts, ghost spirits, heavenly ghosts, nether ghosts, and ghost kings. It was not like the heavenly demons and earth demons, which were divided into demon gods and great demon gods. In the beginning, the ghost witch sect originated from the rosy cloud miasma sea and was a firm ally of the earth demon sect. According to Consort Han, the earth demons that were born later had their devil souls weakened, and they became more and more like spirits and ghosts. The filthy land was regarded as the source of the Een meridians. Many dead souls carried many evil thoughts and evil thoughts. They could not be integrated into the source of the Een meridians, so they flowed into the filthy land together with the remaining Een energy. The Rainbow Lake was located in the center of the filthy world. If it was really a blood spirit altar, then most of the supernatural abilities that were integrated into it later were the filthy Een energy that was removed from the source of the Een meridians. In other words, the will of the source of the Een meridians was actually using this method to weaken all the earth demons, or foreign heavenly demons. To put it nicely, it was called weakening. To put it bluntly, it should be called erosion. Yu Yu, who was favored by the source of the Een meridians, could run amok in 2 worlds. He could greatly increase his combat strength in both the land of despair and the land of despair. Did it mean that the earth demons of Howren were destined to be ruled by Yu Yu? Did it mean that they would be swallowed by the source of the Een meridians without bloodshed? The newborn earth demons, no matter where they were born, became more and more like spirits and ghosts, and Yu Yu and even the ghost god were their spokespersons. No wonder Yu Yu wanted to protect the earth demons and not allow the Supreme of Howren to go down and slaughter them. No matter where the original earth demons came from, Whether the Rainbow Lake is the blood spirit altar or not, they can't do anything. Yu Yuan had a guess in his heart. He realized that the filthy world where the earth demons appeared was actually still controlled by the source of the Yin meridians. The Ghost Witch sect, the remnants of Yuan Qingshi, could survive in this world and reincarnate repeatedly. How could the source of the Yin meridians not know? After all, it was in charge of Howren's reincarnation and rebirth. The reason why his first reincarnation was not discovered by it was because the strange power of the spacetime dragon distorted time and space and disrupted its senses. Now it seemed that the Ghost Witch sect's seeds, the earth demons in the filthy world, and the earth demons in slumber, were all under the nose of the source of the Yin meridians. In fact, the 5 supreme forces, after gaining power, did not go deep to clean up the place. It was possible that they knew the inside story. Recover well. After figuring this out, he didn't want to continue to delve into the origin of the earth demons. He didn't even care what the 7 lows were, what their relationship was with the Rainbow Lake and the rosy cloud miasma sea. In his heart, all the earth demons in the world, the ancient Huang Yin, the elegant demonic shadow in the wooden tablet, and the new generation would eventually submit to Yu Yu's divine throne. At this moment, Yu Yuan raised his eyebrows. Whoosh! Like a wisp of smoke, his true body flew from the thatched hut where he had been sitting to the next hut. And Ziqing, who was wearing a long purple dress, sat cross-legged on a cushion. Dark red smoke was flowing out of the pores all over her body. Crystal beads of sweat could be vaguely seen on Ziqing's cheeks and neck. In the beads of sweat, there were scattered dirt and impurities the size of sesame seeds. She was using the blood god's secret method to refine the 7 amethyst-like blood pools in her small world and the impurities in her sparkling and translucent yang god body. It was just like how Yu Yuan had washed away the impurities in his body when his yang god had just been formed. What alarmed Yu Yuan was that the life power contained in the 7 blood pools in Ziqing's body was stronger than he had expected. The 7 amethyst-like blood pools were filled with blood. The color of the blood was different. He sensed it for a moment and sensed the aura of outsiders. Earlier, Ziqing had given him drops of outsider blood essence. After refining and merging them, the life power in her yang god body seemed to have become much more exuberant. Dense bloodline crystal chains gradually formed in her yang god body, which was also as translucent as a purple divine crystal. From them, Yu Yuan actually sensed the aura of the great demon god Grek. Did you come to see me, young master? And Ziqing opened her eyes with a smile. Nodding, Yu Yuan was about to speak when he saw Ziqing's eyes were filled with some kind of fanaticism and desire. Before he could react, Ziqing suddenly made a hugging motion and coiled around him like a water snake. Whoosh! The dark red smoke that escaped from Ziqing's body also enveloped Yu Yuan. He didn't move at all, allowing Ziqing to wrap around him. With a frown, he coldly looked at Ziqing, who had already activated the blood-refining incantation, with wild instincts surging in her eyes. Ziqing's white, lustrous palm pressed against his chest and began to pull at his blood power. Last time, his unique yang spirit had not only attracted Ziqing, but had also been able to subdue and enslave her. If he wanted to, he could turn Ziqing into his blood slave. Back then, as long as he helped Ziqing cleanse the 7 amethyst-like blood pools and the impurities in her yang god body. Whether Ziqing was willing or not, she would become his blood slave and be completely under his control. For example, if the great demon god, Grek, refined Chao Yi into his blood slave, he could deprive Chao Yi of all of his blood essence in times of danger and let Chao Yi fight for him or gather information. Instead, he let Ziqing cleanse the impurities in her yang god and blood pools with her own power. However, when he saw Ziqing again, he found that the impurities in her yang god and blood pools didn't decrease, but instead increased. Furthermore, she had broken free of his control. Now, Unziching actually wanted to devour his blood essence and melt his yang god. Wake up! Yu Yuan pointed a finger at her forehead and attacked her sea of consciousness with soul sound. Chapter 1493. Wake up! Yu Yuan's soul notes exploded in Enziching's sea of consciousness like two claps of thunder. The note with a wisp of his thought saw that Demonis An's sea of consciousness was like a bloody hell in Gendo. Enziching's Yin spirit condensed into a giant blood-red vortex, and her Yang spirit projection turned into a strange blood-red river. The blood-colored river gave Yu Yuan a feeling that it was somewhat familiar. Enziching's main soul had merged into the dark red sky and filled up the void, so it didn't appear magical for the time being. Yu Yuan's thought could clearly see that there were many colorful ripples in the small world of her soul sea of consciousness. The colorful ripples slowly penetrated the dark red sky where her main soul was, circling around her Yin spirit that was like a bloody whirlpool, and spreading towards that strange bloody river. Possession and destruction, two violent and turbulent emotions, filled her soul sea of consciousness. And they were growing crazily with each passing moment. Her lucidity, rationality, and the rest of her emotions were gradually drowned out. Qi deviation. As soon as this thought appeared, Yu Yuan's thought in her soul sea of consciousness was erased by her violent emotions of possession and destruction. Bam! In the real world, Enziching's small white hand pressed against his chest, clenched into a fist. Driven by the destructive emotions in her sea of consciousness, she suddenly punched him heavily. Yu Yuan let out a muffled groan and instantly broke away from Enziching's entanglement. Through the vision of the dragon beheading platform, he saw that the meteor eyes were quietly hovering above the thick miasma and colorful clouds, and Lu Ying was cultivating. The moonlight was like water, and the stars were shining brightly. Lu Ying and the artifact she had refined bathed in the starlight, absorbing the starlight to refine their yang spirits. The artifact was also accumulating star power. The reason it was in the sky was because the clouds and flowing clouds of the colorful cloud miasma sea would cover part of the starlight. With a thought, the deep fire-poison stream formation that had disappeared for a long time formed again, enveloping the few thatched cottages and this small swamp. Whoosh! Yu Yuan left Enziching's straw hut and stood in an even more spacious area. He looked at the purple-clothed woman who had been inexplicably possessed by a strong desire to possess and destroy. Strange! Grumbling in his heart, he narrowed his eyes and carefully examined it. Then, he shockingly discovered that the blood in the 7 purple crystal blood pools in Enziching's middle dantian was boiling. Inside her yang god body, there were many new, thin, and long bloodline crystal chains that were branded with the profound truths of life. Yu Yuan could even faintly sense an ancient, and supreme will that looked down on all living beings. The aura of this will was so unique and mysterious that no one dared to look directly at it. It was as if all the intelligent creatures in the boundless universe should kneel at its feet and worship it, telling it how lowly they were. The source of the Yang Meridian. Yu Yuan's expression was extremely solemn. He had never imagined that the source of the Yang bloodline, born in the same era as the ruler of Howren's underground, the source of the Yin bloodline, would give Enziching such wonders. Since when did it, the creator of the blood demon race and the great demon god Grek, care for Enziching? Because of me? Yu Yuan suddenly recalled that when Enziching was severely injured by Chao Yi and was on the verge of death, he had used the creation ability of the life altar and his own life origin blood to help Enziching through the crisis. His life altar came from the blood essence of the Chaos Kuan, and then merged with one of Grek's blood crystals. According to his judgment, Even the Chaos Koan's giant beast essence amber contained part of the life essence of the source of the Yang bloodline. Grek was even more so. After he helped Nziching wake up, he naturally left his life origin blood in Nziching's body and gave her the wonders of the creation of life. The source of the Yang bloodline found Nziching through the life imprints contained in the origin blood he gave her. And she, and the entire blood god's secret arts and spirit arts, came from the blood demon race. The source of the Yang bloodline was the ultimate source of her and the blood god. Her soul, the flow of her blood, the Yang soul she forged, the various truths she comprehended, all traced back to the source of the Yang bloodline under the origin blood continent. Because he had left his origin blood and life essence in her body, the source of the Yang bloodline sensed it. It had woven many magical bloodline crystal chains in Nziching's Yang soul and engraved the essence of blood. What did it want to do? Would Nziching's existence become its eyes, just like the great demon god Garek? Would she become an extension of its will? For example, Yu represented the source of the Een bloodline, and the great demon god Grek represented it. Would Nziching become another one it cared for? Other than Garek, there was another option? Or from Howren? Yu Yuan's eyes flashed. He suddenly realized that because of the life altar, the blood-colored crystal, because he had been cleansed by the essence of Een sunflower, and because his main soul was too miraculous, according to the Chaos Koan, he had erased all irrelevant imprints after condensing his Yang soul, causing the Chaos Koan's plan to fail. The source of the Yang bloodline might have chosen him in the beginning. But the moment his Yang soul was formed, it destroyed the plan of the Chaos Koan and the Chaos Koan, causing their scheme to fail. It had no choice but to settle for the next best thing, which was Nziching. Thud thud. Nziching walked out of the thatched hut. The desire to destroy in her mind was replaced by an extremely strong desire to possess. The tall divine lady of the blood god sect, who was full of evil tricks and schemes, suddenly lunged at him like a bloody lightning bolt. Before Yu Yuan could react, she wrapped around him like an octopus and tore at Yu Yuan's clothes with her hands and feet. Yu Yuan was stunned. On second thought, he realized that Nziching had planted 2 inner demon seeds in her heart at some point. These 2 inner demon seeds actually wanted to possess and destroy him. It was the kind of evil thought that she would either have him or destroy him if she couldn't. This evil thought had been suppressed in the deepest part of her heart and had never been exposed. That was because the source of the Yang bloodline had taken care of her and nurtured her across the boundless starry sky. It had branded many miraculous bloodline crystal chains in her strange Yang soul. During this process, she needed to constantly extract the blood essences of various races. Therefore, the drops of outsider blood essences that she had originally wanted to give to him were refined into the 7 purple crystal blood pools. After she had condensed her Yang soul, the 7 blood pools and the Yang soul itself hadn't had time to remove the impurities and cleanse the impurities. In a hurry, she had refined the blood essences of numerous powerful outsiders, causing her inner demon seeds to grow stronger. The growth of her inner demon had already put her on the verge of losing control and the possibility of cultivation deviation. Then, she came to the rosy cloud miasma sea. The earth demons had done everything possible to bring Zhong Chechen here because the environment here could easily evoke inner demons and magnify the negative emotions in people's hearts. Because of Seven Lo's return, the ancient earth demons hiding in the turbid underground world had even channeled more miasma and evil energy from the 7-colored lake to the surface. And Nziching had insisted on condensing her Yang soul at this most dangerous time. Due to multiple factors, she had successfully lost control. The 2 inner demons in her heart lake had been magnified infinitely and drowned out her reason. Women are so unreasonable. Yu Yuan felt a headache coming on. He couldn't imagine when Nziching had planted the 2 seeds of inner demons in him. There was also, at this moment, he thought of 7 Lo's. Because the colorful clouds miasma sea was a strange place filled with a foul aura, it could easily evoke and strengthen all kinds of negative emotions in people's hearts. It provided a more suitable environment for evil thoughts to grow, allowing inner demons to continue to ferment. However, 7 Lows, who had been born here, could remove inner demons. The reason 7 Lows had been imprisoned and trapped by the Thunder Sex experts with a thunder formation was to use this characteristic of his. They wanted him to help the high sex of the Tianyuan continent and the devil cultivators of the Devil's Palace get rid of their inner demons. Once 7 Lows acted, he could remove inner demons and become stronger. Therefore, they needed to use the thunder formation to suppress him and make his strength drop even lower. Those who didn't use their own strength, but used 7 Lows to remove inner demons would be cut off from their future breakthroughs. They wouldn't die, and they would never be able to improve. Nye Qingtian had thought that those who relied on 7 Lows to remove inner demons were taking Howren's fortune for nothing. They didn't have the guts to go to outer space and fight the foreign races, so he took 7 Lows away. Now, 7 Lows happened to be in the colorful clouds miasma sea. Yu Yuan pushed Nziching away again. Seeing that Nziching's eyes were filled with a bloodthirsty light again, he couldn't help but seriously consider whether or not he should summon 7 Lows over. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.